convert. Love it. We're at homecoming here at Old Dominion University, and the home side is raring for a huge bounce-back game as we welcome you to the All-State Saturday kickoff. A caravan of 5 App State buses made the 6-hour drive down the mountain yesterday from Boone, North Carolina, here to Norfolk, Virginia for today's key Sun Belt Conference matchup. And welcome everybody, along with Tyoka Jackson. I'm Doug Sherman. So glad you're with us here today, and for an opportunity to see what is truly a pivotal game as we have reached the second half of the season in the Sun Belt.
Both teams are coming off losses, so this is a must-win game to keep pace in that Sun Belt, like you mentioned. And must-win games for those guys means a lot of good football for us.
Now, App State's quarterback is a tall drink of water, 6'7", J.J. Cole.
He is huge, 6'7", 245 pounds to be exact, but make no mistake, he's not a one-trick pony. This guy can move. They will move the pocket. He's a really good athlete, but you can see the arm talent is his true superpower. A sensational player from the pocket. Love him, dynamic.
Meanwhile, on the flip side, Colton Joseph has gone from a no-star recruit to an all-conference quarterback.
He's a dual-threat quarterback to be exact. And again, he's not a run-trick pony. He can run, and he will attack the line of scrimmage, make no mistake. But this is the 4th best rusher in terms of touchdowns in the conference, but he's the #1 passing quarterback in the Sun Belt as well. If you aren't ready and on the screws, this guy will gash you with his arm and his legs.
We've got a couple of 4-3 teams, both looking to bounce back, and most especially for Old Dominion. Last week they had an opportunity at James Madison, played them tough in the first half, but then the Monarchs absolutely suffocated by JMU, and they need to play much better here to start this football game. Old Dominion allows for the opening kick to go out the back. And that'll bring the Monarchs offense and the aforementioned Colton Joseph onto the field. 6'2", 200-pound redshirt sophomore from Newport Beach, California. Asked him this week, where's your favorite spot in Southern California? He said, if not Newport Beach, then any beach in Southern California. He is a beach kind of guy. And there are the numbers. The one thing we want to keep track of for Colton Joseph today, last year in the game up at App State, he turned the football over 4 times, 3 fumbles, and 1 interception. And so he starts in the backfield with Devin Roche, one of 4 running backs in this combination for ODU. And he is healthy and ready to run the football. He gets it on first down, gets through the first tackle, and picks up 3 yards before Denigel Cooper, a dynamic defensive tackle, brings him down.
And from the fans at home, the first thing you're going to realize how fast this offense goes, and look how spread out they've got this defense. They spread you out to be able to run the football, both with the tailback and the outstanding quarterback.
Now, Roche's not the biggest running back, 5'7", 172 from Baltimore out of Dunbar High School. Cuts it back up, dragged down again by Cooper. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 2.
So that's a zone blocking, outside zone. They were an inside zone team, but they're more an outside zone team against this defense because of how they spread them out and then cut it back on that outside 3rd and short. This is exactly where you want to be for the Monarchs offense.
And with the way Joseph can run the football, puts a lot of pressure on this App State defense. Roche motions out, empty backfield, and there goes on a designed quarterback run. Just as we expected, Colton Joseph. Zach Barlev made the big block. And so it's a 1st down, Old Dominion.
Yeah, that 1st down was made possible by the really good, efficient running on 1st and 2nd down to make that a 3rd and short situation. That's exactly what his team wants to be.
Once again, running behind big number 64, Barlev. Roche dragged down by the Will linebacker, Colton Ferris. Who, by the way, the DC, the defensive coordinator for App State, DJ Smith, says that Ferris thinks he's a good dancer. He was not so sure about that, but he's got quick feet. How about the big hit by Miles Farmer to blow that play up?
Yeah, that's an outstanding play by Farmer, getting in the backfield and making the running back restart. Watch Farmer come in right now. That's a blitz to stop the run. So early on, we're seeing an adjustment by defensive coordinator DJ Smith. He's understanding they're going to try to spread me out and run the football at a 6-man blocks. One of the things that you can do off of that is bring linebackers to disrupt the blocking schemes.
Keytravion Bull Hargrove into the game for the first time at running back. Joseph tracked down once again by Ferris, an excellent high school wrestler who won a state championship in South Carolina at 182 pounds. He thinks he was a better high school wrestler than football player, but the two translate, the two sports help each other.
He talked about his hand usage and how you have to have really strong hands and hand fight in wrestling. Same thing in football, to be able to get off your blocks. That hand usage, that hand fighting translate very well. And there was an outstanding tackle to save a first down, because had he not made it in the open field, Joseph was going to get another first down on a third down run.
And so the punt team comes out. Ian Brandt to Jaden Barnes, the dangerous return man. His 6 total touchdowns really pop off the page for you for the Mountaineers. He allows the football to bounce and take an ODU roll down to the 5-yard line. And inside the 5, still going. Hard to do better than that if you're the redshirt sophomore punter from State College, PA. A 54-yard punt has really pinned the Mountaineers back.
Yeah, that's one of the dangers of not coming up and feeling the punt. You're going to lose at least 15 to 17 yards on the bounce on average.
And so now here is J.J. Cole, every bit of 6'7", 245. Out of high school 2 years ago in Ankeny, Iowa, he was the number 111 player in the ESPN 300. Spent a couple of years at Iowa State. Was tired of being a backup, wanted to have a better opportunity, and he has gotten that. As somebody who's taken care of the football so far, A.J. Swan was their starter to begin the year, but J.J. has not thrown an interception yet.
And Swan got banged up, and that allowed J.J. Cole to step in, and now they're saying, the staff saying he's keeping his job because of how well he's playing.
Rashad Dubinion, who NFL scouts have their eye on, former Arkansas Razorback, with the first carry, tackled by the safety Mario Easterly.
5'10", 210 pounds. And he has explosive ability, but he's also a tough runner. Great contact balance, and that's a great first down efficient run, 5 yards just to set him up.
In his 3 years as a Razorback, he carried the football for 888 yards. Fake the handoff to him. Complete the pass to Isaiah Cummings, their dynamic tight end. But he had very little room to gain out across the 10-yard line, a pickup of 3.
Really enjoyed watching Cummings during the week. He's an athletic player, 6'4", 240 pounds that can really run, and is a matchup problem. He's the type of guy that NFL scouts love because you can play with him and move him around, move him in different positions and create mismatches.
Well, he's an SEC athlete, spent 4 years at Kentucky, played at Louisville 4 games last year, but was able to redshirt to keep another year of eligibility here for App State. Once again, get the football into his hands out across the 20-yard line. It's a first down for the Mountaineers. Jerome Carter, who is playing today, was a game-time decision but practiced well yesterday. And so Carter's out there as one of the leaders on the back end for Old Dominion.
Yeah, I like how Coach Loggins is getting Isaiah Cummings in this game early. You just saw a play-action pass, getting him in space and taking advantage of his athleticism.
Ryan Ramey, redshirt sophomore defensive back, getting more run today. Off the play action, Cole with a spiral right on the money. Davion Dozier out across midfield, and the Mountaineers are driving after a 31-yard play.
What an outstanding pass. This is the arm talent that J.J. Cole brings to your football team. Watch him get it over the underneath defender and drop it right into the basket. Now you've got Dozier, who's an excellent player, very tall, great range on his pass catching ability, 6'4", but man, that accuracy on that pass was stunning.
Jaden Barnes motions. Give it to Dubinion up the middle, breaks a tackle, falls forward to the 42-yard line. It's a 5-yard pickup for the senior from Ellenwood, Georgia.
As explosive as both of these offenses are, they really want to be able to run the football. And if they can be efficient with running the ball, and defensively puts so much pressure on you because you can't key in on one thing, and that really unlocks this offense, and is how these quarterbacks can really hurt you.
Yeah, you see the numbers on Dubinion, over 100 yards rushing per game, averaging nearly 6 per carry. This is one thing they do with J.J. Cole. They can move the pocket, but he missed his receiver there, so it's an incompletion to bring up 3rd down and 5. Zion Frank in coverage.
So again, A.J. Swan, who's now the backup, he started the season as the quarterback, but got nicked up, dinged up, and they couldn't run him and couldn't move that pocket. And you said it, J.J. Cole now unlocks this offense because it allows them to make all their calls because he's healthy. Big early 3rd down here for both teams.
With the freshman running back Jakari Lewis in the game for the first time. Cole to throw it. Now thinks better of it under pressure, gets rid of the football, and it is incomplete. Mario Easterly got his hands on it but couldn't haul it in as Cole tried to find Dozier for what would have been a first down. Instead, it brings up 4th down and 5.
Well, Easterly should have made that play. I mean, that's a great job of staying alive, plastering your guy. Now go ahead and dig that thing out, because you're going to see right now the Mountaineers are staying on the field. They would not have had that opportunity if Easterly makes that play. Not an easy play to make, but go ahead and make that because your team needs it.
Well, they have converted 60% of their 4th down opportunities so far this year. Line to gain is the 37. Cole lofts it up, trying to find his big tight end, and the flag comes in. Jeremy Mack, the linebacker, had the tough assignment to keep with 6'4", 240-pound tight end Isaiah Cummings.
First of all, I love the call, okay, because if you're Dow Loggins, the offense coordinator.
Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And if you're Coach Loggins, you want to go to your best player in this situation. And this is one-on-one matchup, 4 versus 4, and just at the beginning of that tape, you saw the number 4 in blue grabbing 4 in white. And as you talked about, tough assignment. This is why Cummings is such an excellent player. 6'4" and can really run, folks. He'll be featured the entire day.
Well, Dowell Loggins, the first-year head coach at App State, told us yesterday that Isaiah Cummings would be starting right now at South Carolina, where Loggins was most recently as a coordinator. Cole on first down, steps up, and this time he is intercepted. First big defensive play of the day comes from Ryan Ramey.
And so this time, J.J. Cole is staring him down.
And I know the App State fans watching are saying, you just jinxed him. You said he didn't throw an interception yet. Well, they got the football deep in the back of their own territory. They drove the football, but then give it up.
We talked about Isaiah Cummings being featured. Here he is there, and he's going to run a basic 7 route. The problem is, watch the amount of blue jerseys. Let's run it. Watch the amount of blue jerseys that he attracts. And so J.J. Cole has to understand he's put up great tape going to number 4. It's going to bring people. You've got to look to go the other way with the football sometimes.
So on first down, Colton Joseph all day to throw over the middle. Good coverage from DJ Burks, the rover, staying with the dangerous number 1 receiver, Naeem Abdul-Rahim Gladding.
But back to the point, though, I like the adjustment from Blake Seiler, the defensive coordinator of Old Dominion. He understands, look, you're going to try to get the ball to your outstanding tight end. We're going to force you to go somewhere else with it.
That was the second time this year App State's been picked off on their opening drive. Pocket collapses. Joseph keeps the play alive, flings the football up, a dangerous pass, and it's picked off on the deflection by DJ Burks. We've got a flag down back around the 12-yard line. Going to be a personal foul. Our referee today, Trennis Livingston. Burks all smiles after the pick.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
So that's the former Cornhusker and the former Orange, Miles Farmer, a 7th-year football player with the personal foul.
Oh, my goodness. And that is really a tough call. I mean, that ball's just gone. In my day, that's good football. Today, very tough call.
Going to draw a flag, and it will be reviewed. We had an interesting conversation before the football game with our replay officials, who are right now looking to see if it's a possible targeting.
So the first question, and I apologize for interrupting, Doug, but the first question about this targeting is you got to ask yourself, was there an indicator? Do you see a launch? And then you got to remember, he is a defenseless player as a quarterback trying to throw the football. And so that's really where you start. He's defenseless. So you have to be very, very careful. If you're going to hit the quarterback, you better still have the ball. Just on the strength that he was a defenseless player, I think that's why the flag was thrown, and I think that's why it's going to be upheld, because they treat quarterbacks who are not running the football as defenseless, just like a wide receiver diving for the football. You got to stay away from any kind of big hit.
And targeting calls that are upheld are down again this year. That has been the trend in college football, although Old Dominion had one of its safeties, Nikendre Steiger, rejected for targeting in the second quarter last week at James Madison. He sat out the second half. That was his punishment, so he's available and playing today.
And if you're an App State fan and you're defending Farmer, you're saying, well, I didn't see a crown in the helmet. I didn't see a ton of forcible contact in the head or neck area. That's just good football. I think the problem, again, is defenseless player. They're really trying to protect not just the quarterbacks, but any player they deem defenseless that may not be aware that a big hit's coming.
Now, Tioka, when you played at Penn State back in the day, that was fine, but they are trying to recondition the athletes of today, not only for the safety of the defenseless player, but also the safety of the person who is making that hit.
100%, and that legislation is going to save our game. And again, to me, younger me, great hit, Farmer. That's the way you do it. But now they're trying to save our game, trying to save the heads of both sides. And I'm with that. I understand that. And a lot of people at home, well, hey, they're taking the physicality out of the game. No, there's plenty of physicality out there. Believe me that. Yeah. They're just trying to take the things that last with these young men.
Well, we had a good conversation last night with Ricky Ronnie, the 6th-year head coach at Old Dominion, about this very thing. Let's see what the call is.
After video review, personal foul, targeting, number 4 of Appalachian State. Number 4 is disqualified from the game, 1st and 10.
And I understand the frustration, because going back to when he was a kid, he was taught to lay big hits on whoever has the football, and I get it, and I understand it, and that's a tough loss for this defense. I mean, he's one of their older, more experienced players, one of the leaders on this defense, and you know, he's going to have to miss the rest of this game, unfortunately, and that is going to trickle down, and you're going to have to take a look at ODU and say, hey, who can we take advantage of, who comes in, which it should be DJ Burks. Is that a guy that you can now try to target and get big plays off of?
And let's see if they go after number 21 in white for App State. First down at the 30-yard line for Old Dominion. This is homecoming here in Norfolk on a picture-perfect college football day. How about that sack? A lot of room to run. Bull Hargrove going to go the distance. A 70-yard touchdown pass and run for this explosive Old Dominion offense.
Doug, that's the type of play that gets set up by the tape. Everybody on App State's defense is well aware that Colton Joseph will attack the line of scrimmage. And they've seen him gash people over and over. We talked about in the open being the 4th best rushing totals in the entire conference as a quarterback. And so when you do that, all eyes on him and no eyes on Bull.
Riley Callahan, who did miss a PAT last week, is 29 out of 30 on the year. Out of the hold of Ian Brandt. Good operation, clean kick, and it's 7-0. Well, as we've become accustomed to for the Monarchs this year, they have as many explosive plays as anybody in the country. Colton Joseph, the quarterback, has a hand in 6 of the 7 touchdowns of 70 yards or more. That's top 5 in the country. ODU is off and running today in Norfolk.
The All-State Saturday Pickup is brought to you by All-State. Good hands.
With Tioka Jackson, I'm Doug Sherman back in Norfolk. And Ty, take us through that touchdown pass from Colton Joseph to Bull Hargrove.
I love the design by head coach Ricky Ronnie. I want you to keep an eye on this guy, and that guy. The play action is going to suck him up, and him up, and then a sneaky through for an easy touchdown there. Watch it. Watch the linebackers suck up with the play action. Oh, gotcha. Easy throw. Don't miss the layup. Catch the football, and it's the running with the Bulls. Bull Hargrove. Love the execution, and the design was sensational.
Nathaniel Eichner, one of 4 kickers used this year by Ricky Ronnie, will kick this off. A redshirt junior from Trinity, Florida, back deep to receive. Number 26, Kamani Alexander, was the second highest rated recruit for App State last year. Had offers from Georgia Tech, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Syracuse. He comes up on the fly, makes the catch at around the 15-yard line, lowers his shoulder and pushes his way to the 30-yard line. And so J.J. Cole will come back out. Jed Olotu Judah with the tackle and special teams coverage. There's the first-year head coach, former Arkansas quarterback and holder back in the early 2000s. Dow Loggins, 45-year-old native of Newport, Arkansas. Spent the last couple of years as the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach under Shane Beamer at South Carolina. So there is a lot of taste of both Arkansas and South Carolina with what we see here this afternoon.
And he's got some NFL bloodlines as well. There's an influence there on how this offense is run.
Jakari Lewis cuts it outside. Big pickup out across the 40-yard line for an 11-yard pickup. It's first down.
And see, to me, Doug, this is the key to this game. If you're the Mountaineers, you got to be able to run the football. As much as we like J.J. Cole, he's still an inexperienced player. He hasn't played a ton of football. He's got a great feel for his inexperience, but he's still inexperienced. Run the football, make it real easy for him.
Yeah, Donnell Nix with a pancake block there. The freshman left tackle getting the start today. Not as much room that time. Short pickup on first down. Give him 3 yards.
Yeah, about that freshman tackle, they like Nix. They think he has a sensational future, but he's still a freshman. And he played like it last week. I mean, that's what it is. When you play young players, it bodes well for their future, but they're going to make some mistakes. Very talented player, though, number 72 in white.
There's the tight end, Isaiah Cummings. Kind of a safety blanket for J.J. Cole. Jeremy Mack Jr. with the tackle.
Yeah, he reminds me of Harold Fanning Jr., the outstanding record-setting tight end for Bowling Green last year. He was a third-round pick of the Browns, who's having a terrific rookie season, but very similar in terms of superpowers. 6'4", like I said before, 240 plus, and can really run. As you hear this crowd get into this third down.
Cole hands it off. Dubinion picks his way across midfield. He's going to be really close to moving the sticks. And indeed, it is a first down. The true freshman Jackson Forrest, who's playing an emerging role on this ODU defense with the tackle, but couldn't keep him from getting to that 49-yard line.
Yeah, that's a good look at Rashard right there. He's got really quick feet. He's a banger inside. Great contact balance and all that stuff, but he showed me some vision and some athleticism, spinning out and getting all he can get out of that play.
And Coach Ronnie says he is tough to tackle, and the NFL scouts like what they see out of him. He stays in to pass protect. Coming across the middle, Jaden Barnes, the #1 receiver for App State, former Austin Peay Governor, with his 33rd catch of the year with Zion Frank in coverage.
And see, this is what the run game does. It makes this pocket a little less noisy for your quarterback because the defense understands we're getting hurt a little bit with this run game. You can't just tee off and try to get into the backfield. That slows them down, which slows Cole down and allow him to read it and make accurate throws.
Cole rolls the pocket left. Cummings runs into his own blocker. A disaster of a play that was set up beautifully, but Davion Dozier was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And while we have Jackson Forrest running all the way to the other end, we've got an injured Mountaineer at about midfield, and it appears that play is going to be dead.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down.
And that runner is Isaiah Cummings, who is still down.
Wow.
Top 5 among FBS tight ends so far this season in both catches and receiving yards per game.
Officials timeout.
And so he gets tended to after this play.
Yeah, I don't know that his knee ever hit the ground, but his elbow and arm hit the ground, and that is as good as a knee hitting ground. But man, I hate the fact that he's reaching for his knee there. Hope that that's more pain than actual injury.
Well, Davon Isles, one of the safeties for Old Dominion. Davion Dozier was trying to block him, and they all just kind of met, unfortunately, in the same spot at the same time.
Yeah, look at Isles being physical. At that point, he's an edge player, just like a defensive end, and he's squeezing it, and he forces that pileup. It's just one of those things that happens in football. But that's a great play by Isles. because that ball's trying to make him either stretch and let him cut up or go around the outside, and he didn't allow either to happen.
So we'll step away while the medical staff of the Mountaineers tend to their tight end. After App State tight end Isaiah Cummings was just lifted onto the cart, every one of his teammates and coaches came over to give him some love. And for the young man who grew his love of the sport of football at Russell Lee Park in Louisville's West End, it's a tough way to end your day today, and let's hope that it's only today. Good to see the fist up and still fighting for one of the best tight ends in the country.
It's disappointing, and we were all looking forward to watching this guy play. He's one of the best tight ends in America, and how engaging he was during the week. Talked about how he worked hard in the offseason to become a more complete player and not just be a receiving tight end, but also be an asset as a blocker. And man, he's a huge part of this game plan. Every week he is, and so this is a huge adjustment now for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, from a wonderful family. His mom and dad, Natasha and Andre, probably watching. We send our best. Kanan Hamlet has come in to play tight end. Pass nearly hauled in by Davion Dozier, but Brandon Crutchfield was all over him to make sure it was an incompletion.
Well, that was a catchable ball, and Dozier knows. Dozier knows, excuse me. He's too big and too strong and too talented not to make that play. 6'4", 205 sophomore. It was tight coverage. There's no question. You got to give Crutchfield some love. He was right there, but so was that pass.
Ian Ratliff to punt. Devin Roche averaging 7.5 yards per punt return. It's a fake. The throw is complete. It's a first down. And down the right sideline for a huge pickup is Colton Ferris. So there's an opportunity for a linebacker to receive that pass, and he's got bragging rights now, Ty.
Well, they tease him and say, you know, he likes to dance, but he dances like a wrestler. Well, he doesn't catch like a wrestler. Look at this catch right here. He had to wait for it to come down and makes a nice little nifty move to get an extra 12, 15 yards. But this is what they do. App State is known for their trick plays. This is their third fake punt, and they're a very good punting team, but they know how to fake off of it as well. And so give a lot of credit to your head coach, Dow Loggins, for dialing this up. He obviously one of his best players, if not his best player, got carted off, but he's going to maintain and be aggressive. We talked about must win for both teams. He's coaching like it.
And a nice pass from the punter, Ian Ratliff. And so the drive continues for Jakari Lewis, tackled by Zion Frank.
Yeah, how about the dime by Ratliff, like you said, though?
Again, bragging rights. You know how that is.
Right, and he's one of the best punters. I mean, leads the entire Sun Belt in forced fair catches, but didn't know he had an arm and can spin it, too.
Gonna see what the laundry is about. Yellow flag down on the 17-yard line.
I saw one player's helmet come off, so no matter what happens, he's got to leave the field.
Unless it came off with the other team committing a penalty.
Yeah, unless someone pulled it off.
After the play, personal foul. Hands to the face, defense, number 2. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
So with the hands to the face, you've got the personal foul.
He stays on the field, and Kundre Steiger, personal foul on the other side. Didn't see it happen.
Administrative stop.
So I'm wondering, did they get the, there's some discussion on whether they got the number correct. Was it 2 or?
We're thinking maybe it was 18. Jackson Forrest. Either way, it was misidentified. Watch 18 in the middle. Hands up a little bit. Huh. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there. Well, what was that?
Well, 18 was there, but it seemed like maybe it came from another direction.
Mbake was the player who had the helmet knocked off.
Either way, it sets up now the 10th play of this drive with Jakari Lewis, the freshman running back from Fort Lauderdale, in the game. Cole spins away from a would-be tackler, gets inside the 10-yard line to make something out of nothing for a short 3-yard gain.
That should have been a TFL. You know, ODU was right where they needed to be to make that play. And we talked about J.J. Cole being a better athlete than you think, and did a great job of spinning out of that tackle.
Yeah, Seth Nawatala had an opportunity to bring him down, couldn't do it. The center, number 73, Will Flowers, the ETSU transfer, directing traffics, making the signals. Now it's going to be a design quarterback run. The 6'7" quarterback falls to the 5-yard line to bring up 3rd down and 3 or 4.
You talked about DeBinion, the running back, not being an easy tackle. Well, 6'7", 245 pounds is not an easy tackle. I mean, he can fall forward for about 3 yards just on lunging his body. You don't want a high dosage of that, but when you're down this close to the red zone, or to the goal line, I should say, I don't fault a guy for smelling and trying to lean and get as much as you can. And this is, it goes without saying, is a huge 3rd down for both sides.
DeBinion back in there. He's got 4 rushing touchdowns on the year. They're going to try to throw it instead. Cole has a man in the end zone with a flag down. For the moment, Dalton Stroman has his 4th touchdown of the season.
That's going to be offense. Illegal use of hands.
Pass interference, offense, number 85. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 3rd down.
So that's one of the backup tight ends, David Larkins, with the penalty. A 5th-year Mountaineer playing his 42nd game, but a costly penalty there.
Yeah, well, this is where you miss a guy like Isaiah Cummings, because we talked about him being a matchup nightmare, and if you allow him to be one-on-one, he's going to torch you, but you know the attention of the defense would go to number 4 if he was there. Let's see at the left side of the screen if we can see. I think that's a little pick. The offense will say that was a rub route, an illegal thing. The defense will say, no, that was a pick. And the guys in the striped shirts say, no, that's a pick, illegal, back them up. Huge play.
So it's 3rd and 19. Cole fires over the middle, and it's intercepted. Right at the goal line, Jerome Carter Jr., who was a game-time decision, has the 2nd pick of Cole today.
Moving on the field, the interception by the defense, resulted in a touchdown. 1st and 10, Old Dominion.
So, Tioka, we came into the game saying the best thing J.J. Cole has done this year is protect the football. He had not thrown an interception. He has turned it over with picks twice already in the 1st quarter.
Yeah, and I don't think he's seeing the field as well as he did on tape. I mean, that's just a really poor decision to throw it in there with that many blue jerseys hanging around. And how about Jerome Carter? Again, we wasn't even sure he'd play. He's their leading tackler, and now he's showing he's got hands as well. Great job. He's just a zone defender in his area, and the ball almost comes right to him as if he's a magnet and it's made of metal.
Well, App State has had the football twice, driven the football twice, and then had interceptions twice. Roche takes the handoff, picks his way out to the 23-yard line, give him forward progress to the 24. Aiden Benton, the field defensive end out of Lovejoy High School in Georgia, on the stop. After the 4-yard pickup, 2nd down and 6. Joseph fires near sideline. Nice job to adjust to that pass by Ja'Cory Thomas, who missed the James Madison game last week, but is back in the lineup today.
Yeah, that was a great route by Thomas. He ran Johnson off. Ethan Johnson put his foot in the ground and came back. The ball was on time and on target. You see in ODU, they can go fast with their no huddle, or they can go a little bit slower and eat clock, as you see here.
Colton Joseph at quarterback, honorable mention All Sun Belt Conference a year ago. Alongside his hip is Devin Roche, who got the start today at running back. Joseph going to take a shot deep down the right side. It is incomplete. Abdul Rahim Gladding was defended well by Zaire Gamble.
Yeah, I like the play by Gamble. Didn't foul, but this ball was underthrown. And Colton hung it up a little too much. That ball should have came out a little earlier, and go ahead and let it go. See how the receiver has to come back to it? Abdul Rahim Gladding had to come back, and that brought the defense back into the play. But if he lets that thing go a little earlier with a little more mustard on it, that's a touchdown.
And he's got to be careful passing to Zaire Gamble. Would have been a 45-yard pickup, but Gamble's had a couple of game-clinching interceptions already this season. On 2nd and 10, give it to Roche. Gets to the 2nd level, finally is dragged down by Kyle Arnhold, one of the captains out of Lord Botetourt High School. He's another one of the Virginians who are back home in their home state here at Old Dominion University.
Hey, Ricky Ronnie said Roche is a very shifty back, and you saw it right there. You saw him shifting gears, changing directions, all the while working the ball upfield.
And I love the fact that he said Roche at 5'7" is also the best in pass protection.
Right. A little guy like that, that's all heart, you can best believe.
172 pounds from the city of Baltimore, Charm City.
You come from B-more, you got heart.
Joseph scans, finds a man. It's Thomas. Gets across midfield. Nice job to break the tackle. Ethan Johnson was there with him, but the boundary corner couldn't bring him down. Arnhold finally did.
Well, on the left of your screen, Ja'Cory Thomas again runs the same comeback route. He's running Ethan Johnson off, threatening speed, and coming back to the football. That's a great play by Thomas in terms of the route, but the timing was excellent as well, as Joseph lets that ball go on time and makes it nearly indefensible.
Well, missed tackles, a huge thing for App State the last couple of weeks. 42. That's an incredible number in the loss to Coastal Carolina last week.
Unbelievable. I've never seen a number that big.
Roche finds the hole again.
And that was the theme all week. I mean, really for both teams. You heard it from players and coaches. We have got to tackle better, and that's one of the things. That's one of the lost arts. And college football and pro, to be honest with you. Just don't practice the physicality of the game like you used to, and tackling is one of the first things that goes by the wayside.
Well, the first quarter's in the books, and there are now 4 missed tackles today for App State. The numbers are better, but still a costly one there. Old Dominion driving the football on homecoming. The Monarchs, big plays on both sides, couple of intersections, and then the long touchdown run to have the Monarchs on top by a touchdown. Kick off your Week 8 NFL Sunday with the Countdown crew on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. They'll have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and previews for each game right up to kickoff. Back here in Norfolk, Virginia with Tyoka Jackson, I'm Doug Sherman. We talked last night with ODU head coach Ricky Ronnie about the fact that time of possession is not something that this team dominates on the field, but they're not worried about it. In that first quarter, App State held the football, Tyoka, better than 2-1. But look at the scoreboard. The explosive plays are the answer for the Monarchs.
Yeah, that time of possession is a little bit of an archaic stat in today's game, but definitely for the Monarchs and the way they play. They are about big plays. They're about gashing you, especially with the passing game. But they can gash you, too, with these running game with the quarterback and tailback runs.
And a big opportunity for Devin Roche continues. High snap gathered by Joseph, going to try to make something of it, and he does.
Wow.
Very near the line to gain. Well, he didn't panic.
Right.
Able to pull it in and say, let's make something.
Avoid the catastrophe. And had the wherewithal to get his pads down and get as much as he can get. Don't try to get cute. Get as much as you can get. Uh-oh. Again, no panic. Cover the football. Let's get yards.
He is a terrific athlete. 6'2", 200 pounds, out of Newport Harbor High School in California. Roche trying to get to the edge, can't do it. Wonderful pursuit by big number 56, the Mike linebacker Kyle Arnold, not allowing the shifty Roach to turn the corner.
Yeah, and Arnold turned it back to Benton. So Arnold made it possible by being the edge defender, turning the ball back, and Mr. Benton, the defensive end, Aiden Benton, came and laid the lumber.
Now, Arnold is the second oldest player on this defense, a redshirt senior from Roanoke, Virginia. He is calm, former defensive back.
Heavy hands, that's what they say about him. And that means strong, much stronger than me and you, Doug.
Yeah, no one describes me as that. Joseph to the end zone into single coverage, but off the hands of Naeem Abdul-Rahim Gladding, with Ethan Johnson draped all over him.
Yeah, that's an outstanding play by Johnson. He did a great job of turning. Watch him turn. Beautiful turn, and gets right into the catching radius of the receiver. Not early. So Gladding could not say, hey, I was interfered with or whatever. That's a great job by Johnson, not panicking himself, showing some athleticism and getting the pass break up.
Bull Hargrove, the senior running back from Ruston, Louisiana, back into the game for this 11th play of the drive. They've already had a couple of third down conversions. To the air. Off the mark by Joseph, trying to find Abdul-Rahim Gladding.
Yeah, that's the first bad throw we've seen. I mean, he just pulled the string on that one. Wide open player. You just don't see Colton Joseph miss guys like that very often, and he knows that he's upset.
And now we get a chance to see big Riley Callahan, who in pregame at 6'4", 200 was drilling field goals of nearly 60 yards.
Yeah, look. And when was the last time you seen a kicker look like that? I mean, that is an athlete playing the kicker position, and he clearly has a huge leg.
Well, his long 50 yards at Virginia Tech when the Monarchs took down the Hokies. This a 47-yard attempt. It is no good left.
Now, isn't that something? We watched him drill kicks 20 yards further than that, but when you get on the field and it matters, a little bit different deal.
Plenty of leg, just a little bit to the left. Our score remains 7-0.
As good as it gets if you're a college football fan.
And with the Gamecocks taking on the Crimson Tide, we have a handful of former Gamecocks playing for App State. Rondo and Ronnie Porter. Rondo, the starting defensive tackle. Ronnie, one of the better linebackers, and also Emory Floyd. He is a redshirt junior field cornerback, and the reason why there's a pipeline from Columbia up to Boone is because Dowell Loggins spent the last 2 years there before being hired as the head coach of the Mountaineers. It's kind of the way it is in college football today, and when you are an assistant coach trying to get another job or a head coach, part of the equation, I assume, in the interview process is what players can you acquire.
Absolutely, and tells me that Shane Beamer is stacking talent down there or up there in Columbia.
J.J. Cole puts it in the air again. Safe pass over the middle. Rashad Dubinion with a big pickup to the 45-yard line.
Came into this game with 11 catches, but showing me something in that ability to catch the football out of the backfield is Dubinion.
Another missed tackle allows for a 10-yard pickup and a first down.
This guy leads the conference in both rushing attempts, yards, and yards per game, but he's not just a one-trick pony.
Extra shot there on Dubinion after the flag had flown and the whistle had stopped the play.
False start, pre-snap penalty.
False start, 86, offense. Never got set before the snap.
Well, that
5
leads
yard
us.
penalty, remains first down.
That leads us to the conversation you and I were having during the break. Without their star tight end Isaiah Cummings, will Kanan Hamlet, will David Larkins be able to fill that gap?
And Hamlet then just is the one who false started, but I think what you got to do is you got to adjust. If you coach Loggins, you got to go ahead and lead on this running game. We just talked about Dubinion, and you know, he's a guy that you can lean on. He's an NFL type back, and you got a young quarterback who's struggling a little bit. That running game can settle him down.
There's Hamlet in motion, looking to set up the screen pass to Dubinion, and it's blown up by the beautiful play from Nikendre Steiger, the former Kansas State Wildcat. Forces a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, I like how aggressive he was, Doug. You see a lot of young players come up and try to chop their feet to make this tackle. No. You go ahead and you saw that outside leg off. If you do miss it, you're turning him back, and the cavalry is coming. Nice job of not hesitating and getting the guy on ground. I just want to see him bring his arms. Just bring your arms, Steiger, next time, and that would have been picture perfect.
Dual receivers to the field side. Barnes goes in motion. Looking that way, finds Barnes, and he has it go right through his hands. An opportunity for Steiger to intercept it, just couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, so again, you got a young quarterback who's struggling. Everybody else now has to pick up the slack. You're missing your top receiver in Cummings. Everyone else has got to zone in and help your young quarterback out. That was an easily catchable football. Very well thrown by Cole. Maybe a slightly behind him, but you can get two hands on that, catch that, and get upfield. Everyone else has to pick up the slack for their best offensive player not being there.
Yeah, Barnes was a 1,000-yard receiver last year at Austin Peay, off to a terrific start to the first half of this season. He squeezes that football, but he's only going to get back to about the original line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up fourth down.
That's where that missed play on third down really hurts you, because you'd be sitting now at past midfield and you maybe have a conversation about going forward on fourth down, but that drop ball really hurt them, stymied their drive.
So now Ian Ratliff, who on his last presumed punt attempt completed a pass to their linebacker. Let's see if they punt it to Devin Roche. The punt is away. Roche will let it land out of bounds at around the 20-yard line. Well, our only score so far was a 70-yard play in the first quarter. What a surprise. The explosives are the story once again for Old Dominion.
The All-State Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands.
Back at Old Dominion University, where the Monarchs are showing off their big play capability. They had their 7th play of 70 yards or more for the only score. That's the second most in FBS coming into the day. And the defense, while it is bent, it is not broken. They've come up with a couple of interceptions against the redshirt sophomore quarterback for App State, J.J. Cole.
And to underscore the importance of those explosives, Ed, our stats guy, just handed me something which is really impressive. They got 139 yards of total offense. Well, 70 of it came on one play, right? So that's how important. When you do a lot of basketball, getting easy baskets in transition, that gets an offense going. Explosives are that for football.
Bull Hargrove, the running back, tries to be patient and pick his way to find a hole, still somehow on his feet. But eventually the swarming defense got to him. Looked like DJ Burks was the first to get a shot at him. But you don't get the nickname Bull by being an easy guy to bring down.
That's right. And usually bulls don't dance that much. So that's not usually how he runs. I'd like to see him make a decision, be decisive, and pick a hole and go.
So just a gain of 1 for the former Mississippi State Bulldog, who spent a year also at Memphis. Colton Joseph tucks it, runs, protects the football to the 25-yard line. It's a 5-yard gain.
Just so another one of his superpowers. He can run the football with design quarterback runs, but when he feels things breaking down and his clock is getting late and he understands that he's still holding that ball, he'll find a gap in the defensive rush and get yourself positive yards that sets up a 3rd and manageable.
Got to get to the 29-yard line.
Man coverage, bottom of your screen.
Play clock down under 10. Joseph flushed, gets rid of the football. We've got a flag. That's going to be a holding penalty.
No question.
As one of the big offensive linemen just tackled a rushing defender. Jordan Favors was providing pressure on the play. Skylar Grant is the left guard, big number 75.
Holding. Offense. Number 83. Correction. 53. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, I don't have a 53. So
Correction. Number 75.
There we go. 75. They corrected it indeed. It's Skylar Grant, the redshirt senior from Fredericksburg, Virginia, 5th-year Monarch.
Yeah, tackling is legal in football, but only if you're a defender.
Yep.
You can't be an offensive lineman tackling rushers. I got tackled way too much when I played.
Come
they
on.
didn't call it.
Come on.
They didn't call it when I played. That's the right call.
So after the 3 and out, Ian Brandt able to get the punt away. A low spiral that's returnable, if not for the great coverage downfield by Nikendre Steiger. And we've got a flag.
During the kick, holding, return team, number 7. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, 1st and 10.
Here's our Week 8 Monday Night Football matchup. The Commanders, without Jaden Daniels, will be in Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. With Peyton and Eli back on ESPN2. Coverage kicks off with Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown crew at Arrowhead at 6 Eastern. And what do you know? Patrick Mahomes is playing like Patrick Mahomes again, Tioka.
Yeah, and therefore the Chiefs are playing like the Chiefs. Their demise was greatly exaggerated, right? Every year we're, as fans, looking to write off the Chiefs, but as long as Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback, you got to understand that they will always have a chance to make deep runs into the playoff.
Trips to the field for App State on 1st down. J.J. Cole takes the snap, hands to Dubinion, and once again there is disruptive pressure from the middle up front for ODU.
Yeah, the penetration, and that's telling the story. They're doing a great job of getting into the backfield, reestablishing the line of scrimmage 2 or 3 yards deep, and even though he makes it back to the line of scrimmage, he's getting slowed down on his way, talking about Dominion, and that's just really good run defense.
Jaleel Culbreath was first. Derek Goodman, backup linebacker, was also there. 2nd down and 9. Cole dumps it off to Dominion out of the backfield. That'll bring up 3rd down and manageable after another tackle by Zion Frank, who has really made a huge jump this year after playing briefly on special teams in one game in the previous 2 years. He switched from safety to cornerback in the spring, and he's become an impact player for ODU.
Yeah, right around here in Chesapeake, Virginia. So he's a hometown boy, but you see one of the adjustments of not having Isaiah coming. They are featuring Dominion with both the run and the pass game.
J.J. Cole does not have that security blanket of his big play tight end thanks to a leg injury suffered earlier today. Carted off the field, and so that makes a multi-dimensional App State offense a little less multi-dimensional.
No question about it. And again, that's Dominion again getting hit in the backfield by his own player. And that's going to be close to 1st down. Looks like they didn't get it.
And so it's 4th and inches. Cole comes off. And the punt unit led by Ian Ratliff will come back out. Devin Roche for Old Dominion back to receive.
It's a big 3rd down stop for this Monarch defense.
Ratliff gets it away. Roche playing a bigger role today, both on special teams as the return man and as the starting running back. Couldn't get loose there thanks to Emery Floyd. And so we take a break. Our score still 7-0 ODU. Welcome back to the All-State Saturday Kickoff with Tioka Jackson. I'm Doug Sherman. Old Dominion on the strength of a first-quarter touchdown has the lead. Colton Joseph, the starting quarterback for ODU, throws his 17th touchdown of the season. Reason to celebrate as the Monarchs have this homecoming crowd in a frenzy early. Bull Hargrove on the receiving end. Yet another explosive play for the Monarchs.
How about that dance move by Bull?
I like it.
Did you see it?
You said he's a dancing bull.
I like the dancing in the end zone, not on the field.
Pre-snap penalty.
False start, offense, number 58. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Stephon Dubose-Bourne, the starting right tackle, who apparently had his best half of football in his 5 years at Old Dominion in the first half last week at JMU with the penalty. Now these two guys, the two head coaches, are friends going back to their days in Nashville. Ricky Ronnie was in Nashville at the same time Dowell Loggins was in Nashville. Loggins knew each other. One was a Vanderbilt assistant coach. The other was the Titans quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. And I find it interesting in a big city like that that the college team and the pro team, their coaches would get to know each other with so much in common.
How about that? I mean, you know, football is it's a community, really. I mean, it's a lot smaller than you think. I mean, guys are connected in every which way. So that's just one of those examples.
Lots of respect between these two staffs. Joseph with the completion to Jalen Butler. His 6th catch of the year. Young man who got married back in May to the former Kaylee Hood. Jalen Butler, her husband, on the receiving end of that pass.
Very nice.
Were you ready to be married as a college student?
Oh, no.
No. 10 years later, were you ready to be married?
You know, some would say no. But I did. That's debatable.
Markai James, the running back, making his first appearance. Joseph keeps the play alive, does a nice job to find the open man. Coming across is Naeem Abdul-Rahim Gladding for a 16-yard pickup.
How about the toe tap by Abdul-Rahim Gladding? Watch the right foot. That's all you need. This is college football, folks. All you need is one leg. Does a great job. And he's pointing to it. See, I got that, ref.
Sidney Mbanasor, number 17 today, on the field for the first time. The receiver at the bottom of your screen. But it's Abdul-Rahim Gladding, who a couple of years ago was a no-star recruit coming out of Stonebridge High School in Ashburn, Virginia. He's a New Yorker from Brooklyn, and he transferred to a better football school, and he has been on the rise. On cue, they try to find Abdul-Rahim Gladding, but Zaire Gamble breaks it up.
Excellent play by Gamble, just really physical at the point of the catch, but the lack of pass rush. I mean, they got to find a way, talking about App State, to get after this passer, because Colton Joseph is just too comfortable back there. They've got to find a way to heat this pocket up, because if you let him stand and continue, you can't ask a guy like Gamble to cover that long and continue to make great play after great play.
Old Dominion uses 4 running backs. First time again we've seen number 5 Markai James fake the handoff. Joseph down the sideline trying for a one-handed grab was Ja'Cory Thomas. Couldn't do it, but the flags come in as Christian Conyer is going to be called for defensive pass interference.
So I mentioned having to find a way to get pressure the quarterback, and App State decides to bring 2 linebackers. The problem was they got picked up.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
And so right at the beginning of the replay, you could see that there's an arm bar right there by Christian Conyer. Watch the left arm right there. That pull back is all you need. That's going to draw the flag all day. Now listen, I understand if you're beat for a touchdown.
It was going to be 6.
There's no question about it. So, yeah, we don't like to get penalties, but go ahead and save us 6 points. Don't get beat, but if you do, especially in college football, it's only a 15-yard foul. It's not like the NFL where it's a spot foul and they'd be down on the goal line.
So it's 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line of App State. Old Dominion looking to build on its 7-0 lead. Joseph now going to run it. He is a true dual threat guy. The Mike linebacker Kyle Arnhold was there. Are they spying him today? Do most defenses like to spy a guy like Colton Joseph?
Well, a lot of defensive coordinators don't like it, because when you assign one defender to the quarterback, you're one shorter in the back half. However, if this continues to be a problem, you're going to have to adjust if you're DJ Smith and shut this quarterback run game down.
Joseph dangerous with his feet again. Zaire Gamble brings him to the turf.
And to that point of how dangerous it is, there's different ways he gets it done. It's the scramble game where he reads it and feels it and finds space. And then you have plays like that where it's a design run. And that's a whole nother deal to deal with. You see these red zone numbers.
Dual receivers to the bottom of your screen. Brown and Butler after glancing back a second time to the sideline to get the play change. James picks his way until Aiden Benton brings him down. Well, to illustrate Colton Joseph's ability to run the football, week 1 at Indiana. That's Bloomington, Indiana, where Hoosiers play and are one of the better teams in the country again this year. Colton Joseph had touchdown runs of 75 and 78 yards, one of 3 career 100-yard rushing games for this quarterback who completes 63% of his passes.
And that's against the number 2 team in the country, right? So the guy is legit, no question about it.
8th play of the drive, dual receivers to each side. Give it to James, and he's immediately wrapped up by Rondo Parker.
When you get to this area of the field against this defense, I mean, they are really tough. This is the top red zone defense in all of the Sun Belt. And they're in the top 17 in America. Look at the physicality. There's something about this defense, when they get inside of the 20, they play different.
Well, he's the dark alley guy, according to their defensive coordinator, DJ Smith.
What's that mean?
Rondarius Porter is somebody you don't want to mess with in a dark alley.
Or you want him on your team if you are in the dark alley. Look at the time, though.
All day for Joseph. Now he's going to run it. Still kept his eyes downfield right up until the line of scrimmage to try and keep the defenders from closing in. Manuel and Ferris were in pursuit, but it's positive yardage after great coverage downfield by the F State secondary.
Unbelievable coverage. I mean, my goodness, I didn't have a stopwatch out, but you had an opportunity to eat ice cream sundae completely as he's holding that football. I mean, that is just sensational secondary play from the Mountaineer defense. You got to get a pass rush. Again, I don't like that down in and down out as this game goes through. You got to find a way to rush this quarterback, but held up there.
After missing from 47 yards, this a 33-yard attempt. Callahan puts it up and through. It is now a 10-0 lead for Old Dominion. And without the explosive on that drive, that was a more traditional way to move the football down the field.
It was, and you got to give the Monarchs credit. They continue to move the football. They had a couple mistakes there. They overcame that, but once again, the Mountaineer defense stands tall inside the 20. Now you need some complimentary football from the other side. Now, you need a nice drive from this offense of the Mountaineers, and you need to start to change the scoreboard. I mean, obviously it's just a 2-possession game right now, but you need to get some of this money back.
Yeah, we look back to last year up in Boone. I asked Colton Joseph earlier this week if you looked at this tape. ODU lost the game 28-20. For Joseph, he threw for a career-high 332 yards, but he turned the football over 4 times. A career-worst 3 fumbles and an interception. So far, Joseph has done a much better job here today taking care of the football.
Well, you said the answer to your question was no, I didn't watch it. And you said it's a different
number 58
DC.
for Appalachian State is number 0 now.
It's a different DC, so he didn't feel like he needed to watch it. But, I mean, listen, it's not Halloween, and that tape is ugly. So I understand how scary it is to look at that tape. And because, you know, you just don't want to have negative feelings coming into this game. Maybe there's something to learn or not, but I don't blame him for not watching that. It was, ugh.
So Nathaniel Eichner, after the field goal, kicks it away. And over the head of Kamani Alexander. App State gets the football back, still looking for their first points. Despite having possessed the football twice as much as ODU in the first quarter, they have had their opportunities, but their quarterback has put the ball in harm's way multiple times and been picked off twice.
4 drives, 2 interceptions, 2 punts. That's not very good. And so how are you going to find a way to sustain drives when your best offensive player is no longer available? And I talked about it before. You've been deciding to lean on Rashad Devinian, and I think that's smart. Again, the top rusher in the conference. But now you're going to have to find a way to scheme up plays, and you've seen him now starting to get the ball out of his hand quicker with outside throws and wide receiver screens.
True freshman wide receiver Alex Sanchez into the game. They find Barnes on the near side, make the first man miss. Finally wrapped up. Terrific pursuit by Ahmad Foster, one of the redshirt freshman defensive tackles, getting a bigger opportunity today.
2 minutes.
Picked up
timeout
after where Zion Frank missed the tackle. We have reached our 2-minute timeout, and on homecoming, the home team is in control up 10-0 in this key second half of the season Sun Belt game.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
Yeah, the all-new ESPN app, making watching college football and keeping track of everything in sports a whole different ball game this year. Nice looking pass and catch from J.J. Cole to Kanan Hamlet. His 6th reception of the year. That's a first down after a 10-yard gain.
Nice physical catch by Hamlet. As you see this offense get some tempo going.
DeBinion in the flat. Can't haul it in. Frank once again in coverage. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
So you got accuracy and ball placement. And the placement of that football, even though it was an accurate throw, who they're throwing it to was accurate. The placement was on that back shoulder. That ball needs to be on the front shoulder to make it an easy catch, so DeBinion can turn and get upfield. He had to turn back, and a lot of times you see that ball pop up like that. The ball's going the other way, so they're lucky.
Second down pass, incomplete. The intended receiver is Sanchez, and a flag comes in late.
Pass interference, defense, number 6. This is a spot foul, automatic first down.
Well, the first-year starter out of Wake Forest High School in North Carolina commits the penalty. Second pass interference on Old Dominion so far today.
Had some crossing receivers. Check the left side of your screen.
Snap.
You can't, as a defender, you can't make contact with a receiver beyond 5 yards. And that's a lot of contact before the balls get there. I mean, and if it's in the air, if the ball's in the air, it's going to automatically draw the flag. So not sure what the crowd was booing about. That was the right call.
Big drive for App State, trying to get points on the board before the intermission. And once again, an errant pass from Cole. Clock stops at 1:44. Ahmad Foster, the defensive tackle from Chester, PA, getting a bigger role again today, forcing a little bit of pressure.
So everything's right now is sideways for this App State offense. I want to see them go down the field, Doug. Right now, they're not pushing the ball down the field like we've seen them do in the past, and that'll loosen this thing up. There's a lot of defenders within 8 yards of this football, and it's just not a lot of places to throw the football.
Cole to throw. Just out of the reach of Jaden Barnes.
That time was a little bit better pushing the ball downfield. The throw just wasn't accurate enough.
And again, Jackson Forrest perhaps made Cole get rid of the football earlier than he wanted to.
So where do you go in this situation? First it starts with protection, which has been pretty good all day, I would say. Where do you go with the football when you don't have your security blanket? This is where a guy like Dozier and Barnes can step up for this offense.
A designed run for Cole. He's got to get to the 42-yard line. He falls forward, but at 6'7", not quite tall enough. He comes up about 1.5 yards shy after the tackle by Jeremy Mack.
This is where I'd like to see him go tempo and go for this. Now they're well, got a timeout here.
First timeout used by either
Timeout.
side.
Appalachian State, this is their first timeout of the first half. 30 seconds.
And again, App State looking to bounce back today. Tough road assignment. Down 10-0 here late in the half. Well, the next stop on the F1 schedule is the Mexico City Grand Prix tomorrow afternoon at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on ABC and the all-new ESPN app. Our pre-race coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern with ESPN Deportes coverage starting at 3. With Tioka Jackson, I'm Doug Sherman back in Norfolk, Virginia, as Old Dominion holds on to a 10-0 lead. App State, I'm guessing, their quarterback, J.J. Cole, making only his 4th career start, might be a little gun shy. He has a string of incompletions now. He's not been throwing the ball downfield as much as we saw earlier in the game when he got picked off twice.
And this is the first time we've seen him in his college career have real adversity. And so you're not exactly sure how he's going to react to it. So as a play caller, you want to make sure that you try to keep him as comfortable as possible so that mentally he begins to gain some confidence as this game goes on. And so in this situation, it's 4th down. Given that, I've got to put the ball in Dominion's hands.
It's the 3rd time in 5 drives as the pass is completed for a first down that App State has crossed midfield. They have yet to put any points on the board, but the drive stays alive on the completion to Jaden Barnes.
And watch the feet. There's the catch, and he kept that left foot down a little longer just to make sure the official understood that that is a catch and it is a first down. But how about Coach Loggins having some confidence in a young quarterback, though? Ran a sprint out play, made it an easy read for him, and that was a good throw on the run.
The ruling on the field was a catch at the sideline for a first down. The previous play is under video review. Timeout.
Yeah, head coach Ricky Ronnie on the near sideline, not too happy, and letting the official on the sideline hear it.
So take a look at the feet now. The ball's still not caught yet. Now it's caught, and it's that left foot for me. And the question is, after he caught the ball, was the ball still moving? So let's take a look at the ball and see how long it takes for that ball to stop moving. And see, that to me is a catch. Now, his hands come off of it. Yeah, to me, that's a catch. He's got that football. Now, understand that the call on the field is that it's a catch, right? So that's where we always got to start with the call on the field. And then the video evidence has to be irrefutable that the call on the field was incorrect. And I did not see visual evidence that says, nope, that was the absolute wrong call, we got to reverse it. I just, at the very least, you're not sure, and not sure means stay with the call on the field.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough to overturn it from what we have seen. Looked like he had possession and that foot was in, but we'll see what the officials come up with as they play your theme song over the PA.
Would you like to
It's Halloween time.
the
so
title?
The
Would you like to
freaks
tell the
come out
title?
at night. Back in the day, you and I are of a certain age.
I have no idea what you're talking about, although I am tapping my foot, though. I can't, my body has to react to this song. I don't know what it is.
What a picture-perfect day for football here in late October, October 25th. So Halloween coming up.
Ball's not moving, and look at the Michael Jackson toe tap, right? I mean, get up on those toes. That's just an excellent job of making it as obvious as you possibly can by Jaden Barnes to get the call. And I think that's going to be the reason why that first down is going to stand.
And again, it was a fourth down play, so a huge call here.
No question
Whether the
about
drive continues or you give it back over to the Monarchs, who can try and close out.
And making no mistake, this is a big drive. A minute 20 to go in the half.
Well, Blake Seiler's defense has done the job today. They have given up yardage. They have bent but have not broken, and have kept J.J. Cole and this Mountaineers offense in check.
And just keep this in mind, because I think this call is going to stand. How big a
Video
drive.
review. The ruling on the field is upheld for a catch for a 1st and 10.
And to finish the point, just, App State gets the ball to start the second half, right? So this is a very important drive with a minute and 20 seconds left to go in the half. You don't necessarily need to score 7, but you have got to find a way to change the scoreboard to give yourself some confidence going in, understanding we're going to receive the ball. That's the task at hand for this young quarterback and his teammates. Can we change the scoreboard to end this half?
And you can still run the football here with
No doubt.
Jakari Lewis out there, the freshman from Fort Lauderdale. Going to throw it on first down. Put some air underneath it into single coverage, but Dozier could not get to the football because Brandon Crutchfield, whose father, by the way, another one of your former NFL teammates, Buddy Crutchfield, was in coverage.
It's in St. Louis, and when you play as long as I did, you kind of make friends. But did you see that pass, though? That ball hung up and floated. That's not the tape that we ran to open this game. This guy was throwing the football with great confidence. Right now, J.J. Cole, his confidence is affecting his throw.
He's only 1 for his last 5 throwing the football. Going to go to the air again on second down. Flushed out of the pocket, throws on the move. Coming back for the football and making the catch is Dalton Stroman. A huge play for Appalachian State.
Just as I say, his confidence is low. Look at his throw on the move. And maybe that's the reason to get him, or the way to get him going. And those arms, to me, are underneath. Way to go, tempo. Smart there, though.
After the 20-yard pickup, safe pass over the middle.
And why do I say that's smart? Once the ball snapped, it doesn't matter if that was a trap or a catch. Once that ball snapped, you can't go back and review it. So I like how the young quarterback got his team up to the line of scrimmage and got that ball snapped. Now, this is one of the best red zone offenses in all of college football. They score on 90% of all of their drives. And no team has scored by the pass in the red zone more.
Cole throws a fastball over the middle, trying to find Hamlet a second straight time. This time, though, not able to make the catch because Frank was there to get a hand on it.
One-on-one, inside leverage. Look at him come around the outside. Now, he wants a flag. Obviously, Hamlin wants a flag, but that's a great pass breakup without fouling on your back arm. Reach around, come around the corner, and knock that ball down.
3rd and 5 with 36 seconds to go in the half.
I like the idea of getting Cole on the move. He seems to be comfortable, most comfortable that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Changing up, looks like to me, changing up the call.
Looks like coming with a blitz. They rush 4. Cole, after it's picked up, throws to the goal line. It's caught, and touchdown! Jaden Barnes with the grab from J.J. Cole on a huge answer late in the second quarter by the Mountaineers offense.
How about J.J. Cole? And just when we're ready to write his obituary, the young quarterback shows he's got some onions. Watch him drop this ball into the bucket, and look at Barnes reach that ball across. I think that is short if Barnes doesn't reach it across. Great catch. Now watch the reach right there. That was enough to break the plane and give him a touchdown.
A 16-yard strike from J.J. Cole, his 8th touchdown pass. This is redshirt sophomore year, and his first go-round with the Mountaineers after transferring in from Iowa State. And so now Dominic DeFreitas, we get our first look at the freshman place kicker. And he has had a marvelous start to his college career. Still perfect on points after. And a huge answer for App State. They are on the board now after their big quarterback, J.J. Cole, threw a dime to his receiver near the goal line.
Yeah, and the pass was sensational. There's no question about it. But what I'm most impressed is about the mental makeup of number 17. Clearly, this guy is tough mentally because he's had a lot of reasons to really fold, and he's just kept fighting. So let's take a look at where the receiver comes from. This right here is our guy. Now watch the 7 route, breaking outside. Coverage is not bad. Great throw, and then the reach around. So the route was perfect. The ball was placed where it needed to be, where only his guy could catch it. And to finish it off, Barnes understands exactly where he is on the field, reaches that ball across, and makes sure his team gets 6 points. And with the extra point is 7, 3-point game. And that's exactly what we were talking about, though. Finding the way to change the scoreboard, put a crooked number up before we go to half, and now it's a whole new ball game.
Cash McVay will kick it off. Keep in mind, ODU has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. That ball is fielded by James. Thought it was going into the end zone, thought better of it, and able to get the football out to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, once he realized that ball didn't go in the end zone, he's thinking, whoa, this is a live ball. This is like a long onside kick. I better take it and do something with it. 24 seconds left. Not sure if you're ODU, if you're going to try to get anything done. You get all 3 timeouts. Maybe if you pop a run, maybe you'll try to get something out of it.
Well, this is one of the most explosive offenses in the country. I mean, along with Air Force, Navy, and UTSA, no other offense in the country has busted more big plays for touchdowns than ODU.
Yeah, no question.
So why not?
Yeah, and you don't have to change who you are. You can call your base plays to get what you're looking for. I still think I'm running this football in this situation.
Well, that would be Roche, the redshirt sophomore out of Dunbar High School. He goes out into the flat, though. Pass complete out to the 39-yard line to Trey Brown. Eugene Brown III, a special teams player of the week from the Sun Belt Conference earlier this year. Big in the passing game as well. So move the chains. Clock stops at 18 seconds. App State with a dime defense. Take the handoff, Roche. Joseph, a dart over the middle, and it's caught. And they should use a timeout after the 17-yard gain to Naeem Abdul-Rahim Gladding. DJ Burks
Timeout.
tried to prevent
Old
it.
Dominion, first timeout of the first half, 30 seconds.
But the coaching staff at Old Dominion said, you know, we felt we were getting a good one out of Naeem Abdul-Rahim Gladding, and that has really manifested so far this year.
Yeah, he's impressive, and I like how strong his hands are. The way he squeezed that football under duress right there, I mean, he's more than just a athletic receiver who can do things in space. To be a really good receiver, you're going to have some toughness. You got to be able to block, but you got to be able to be strong at the catch point because DBs are hawking and hitting and everything, trying to get that ball out, right? So you got to squeeze the football. That's one of those things that people don't think about in great receivers. Once they get their hands on the football, it doesn't move. And that's one of the things that Abdul-Rahim does best.
Well, from right here, it would be a 64-yard field goal. You've got time for at least one more play, and you've still got 2 timeouts. So the whole field is in play here.
Look how deep these DBs are. They're making sure they're not getting the ball. The ball's not going to get behind him if nothing else.
Clock under 10 seconds. A lot of time running off. Out of bounds with 6 on the clock as Brayshawn Littlejohn chased Joseph out of bounds.
And smart by Littlejohn not to take a shot at Joseph. I've seen a lot of silly penalties where quarterback's on the sidelines and should I hit him, should I not? Really smart to lay off there.
Timeout, Old Dominion. Second timeout of the half, 30 seconds.
called out by Ricky Ronnie, the Cornell University Hall of Fame quarterback. He passed for over 7,700 yards for the Big Red back in the day.
Talked about his wife, Ivy League as well.
Yeah, she was a Big Red student also. And I asked Ricky Ronnie, as well as his offense coordinator Kevin Decker, who can spin it. Decker was an excellent quarterback at New Hampshire back in the day. So you got two former quarterbacks calling the plays, Ricky Ronnie and Kevin Decker, and they both immediately deferred to their wide receivers coach Cody Cook, who 10 years ago was second team All Big 12 primarily as a wide receiver at K-State, but apparently he still throws the football like a pro.
That's right. And Coach Ronnie talked about throwing 7-on-7 for his offense and the amount of ice he had to put on his arm and shoulder after those sessions. He wouldn't let the players see it, though. He did it in the confines of the locker room when no one else was around, but he did have to ice up big time.
You got to be quick here. It would be a 57 or so yard field goal, but you've only got 6 seconds to play with.
And he's in range. And we talked about where we want your kicker to be. Callahan, excuse me. He said, preferably I like to get to at least a 35, but anytime inside the 40, I'm going to go ahead and feel good about a kick opportunity.
Time is called by App State.
Timeout. Appalachian State, second timeout in the first half, 30 seconds.
And that leaves both teams with one remaining timeout here in the first half.
Yeah, this is right up against the minimum amount of time that you have to run a play.
Can you get 5 or 6 yards on a quick out and get your guy out of bounds? Is it worth running that risk at this point?
That's a great question at the end right there. Can you do it? Absolutely, yes. The question is the risk and reward. If it is a little longer than he wanted it to be, he holds a little bit longer, the clock's going to run out. If he's tackled in bounds, can you get the timeout signaled fast enough? Does everybody understand if I catch the football and I'm not near the sidelines, I need to go down immediately? Don't try to get the extra 2 or 3 yards. So those are the conversations that are being had inside that big group of people that you had there, that huddle. That's what they want to talk about. For me, 6 seconds is just a little too tight. Anything could happen. I'm kicking the football right now, but let's see if they can go ahead and execute this.
The running back is Markai James. Colton Joseph at quarterback said he is most improved at pre-snap recognition. They're going to run the football up the middle. The tackle is made with 1 second on the clock. Woo. I think they're going to get that timeout and giving themselves a chance to kick the long field goal after the 8-yard run.
And the unofficial clock went to 0.
This is the third and final timeout of the first half. 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's going to have to
Please
put a
set
clock.
the game clock.
There you go.
2 seconds. Thank you.
Well, he's already missed. Callahan has already missed a field goal from 47 yards today.
And we saw him
from
kick
33.
And we saw him kick what, 60?
60.
60.
With 60
Please
with
set
a
the
little
game
bit of
clock
room
to
to
3
spare.
seconds.
So
Thank
it
you.
would have been from 61, 62, 63.
But the stands were empty.
Right.
It's a little bit different when you put people in the stands and the points count. A little bit different.
Well, with the folks in the stands in Blacksburg last month, he kicked a 50-yarder to help beat Virginia Tech.
That's the right call. If the timeout signal is being made right now, that is the right call, and that is sensational execution by the Monarchs offensively to get as much as they could possibly get. You got to tip your hat to Ricky Ronnie. It's set up now. Let's see if his kicker delivers.
From just inside 50 yards. The snap from Brendan Durkin, the hold from Ian Brandt. And
Little
now,
icing on it.
Little ice using their last timeout. The Mountaineers.
Timeout. Appalachian State. This is their third and final timeout of the first half.
Now Callahan again at
30 seconds.
6'4", 200 pounds. He's been a 3-year starter at Southeastern Louisiana, where he was a freshman All-American and second-team All-Conference in the Southland last year when he made 17 of 22 field goals. So icing him, I don't get the impression that's going to matter to him. It's just a matter of whether he executes here.
And you see how no one's going up to him and just leaving him alone.
Like a pitcher with a no-hitter.
That's right. Don't say anything to him. Let him be in his own zone. You know how I feel about kickers. They're very quirky.
I'm surprised we almost made it to halftime without you saying something.
Well, listen, they're lining up. I got to keep it real. Very quirky. Leave them alone. Let them do their thing. This is what they do all day, every day in practice.
Well, he is 8 of 12 on the year, including that 50-yarder just about this range at Virginia Tech. Snap good, hold down, kick up, a low line drive, and it is no good. This time pushed it right.
Knuckleball. That thing looked funny from the get-go.
So Callahan goes 1 for 3 on field goal tries, but that one make right now is the difference as they head to the locker room.
Got themselves in position, very aggressive call, play calling to get where you needed to be. You set it up perfect. The operation was a success, but the patient died. Just couldn't finish it. Just got to finish, and that's usually the difference between winning and losing. Obviously, ODU has the lead, got a 3-point lead, but all in a game like this with 2 evenly matched teams, every single point counts.
A pivotal mid-season game in the Sun Belt, and we have reached halftime. Old Dominion up 10-7. Zubin Mehenti in studio with EJ Manuel. They will talk after these messages. Conference. Take another break, come back with more of our halftime show right after this. the All-State Saturday kickoff. We're at the home of the Monarchs, Old Dominion University, on homecoming here in Norfolk, Virginia. And our score is 10-7, ODU over Appalachian State. Welcome back, everybody, with Tyoka Jackson. I'm Doug Sherman. Glad you're here with us. And as expected, we had explosives early out of ODU. They jumped to the early 7-0 lead.
Yeah, this is how they've been playing all year, so we weren't shocked about that. Got up to a 10-0 lead. It was a great start for them, but slowly but surely, here come the Mountaineers. They fought their way back into this ball game.
So here's that touchdown we're talking about. On the receiving end, running back Bull Hargrove off the touchdown pass from Colton Joseph.
Well, they had designed a great game plan to run the football before this. Got the eye discipline of the Mountaineers defenders, and Bull got lost for a big touchdown. And you see here the young quarterback had a tough start early. You know, J.J. Cole was not at his best, but I give him a lot of credit. They put him on the move, and he began to settle down and begin to show the type of quarterback he really is. And I thought this throw was outstanding, and I loved how his receiver, Jaden Barnes, made a great hands catch and had the wherewithal to reach that ball across for the big touchdown.
Yes, Cole 16 of 27 passing for 125 yards, that touchdown. The 2 interceptions on the other side. Colton Joseph 8 of 12, 140 yards, that 70-yard touchdown in the first quarter, and no interceptions. We are underway in the third quarter. Kamani Alexander with a big collision at the 20-yard line. The football came loose, but it looks like the play was whistled dead at the 21-yard line. Here are first half statistics. Old Dominion, with that big 70-yard touchdown, has the advantage in total yardage. The 2 turnovers, the big difference. But as you illustrated, Tyoka, it has seemed like the quarterback Cole settled down after those 2 picks.
Yeah, and give him a lot of credit for hanging in there. Now, if you're a Monarch fan, you're knowing that, hey, we have struggled in the second half of ball games. The last 2 halves of the 2 games that they've had, they've been outscored by a combined 56-14. We're talking about ODU. They have got to start fast, and it starts with this defense on this drive.
The safeties Mario Easterly and Ryan Ramey, who made his first career start today. Under pressure, Cole evades the first rush and does well just to get rid of the football.
It's a great job of getting him off his spot. That led to an inaccurate throw, obviously.
Now Atala first to get after the quarterback. Chris Forbes also was closing in. Here's a look at the drives from the first half for App State. The touchdown in the final minute, able to get the Mountaineers on the board, and they start this second half with the football. Jaden Barnes wrapped up at the 27-yard line.
So you see these calls, Doug. They're doing a really good job of getting J.J. Cole feeling good about himself with easy throws where they're cutting down the read from him. You just, again, like we talked about, you do a lot of basketball. You've seen scores when the ball goes through the hoop, how that sort of calms them down, right? Whether that's a free throw or an easy basket on a layup. Same thing with quarterbacks. Give them easy throw, let them warm up to the second half.
And again, Cole was a top 200 recruit coming out of high school a couple of years ago. He's got the arm talent. Pass is deflected, trying to find his running back Dubinion, but Chris Trinidad, number 43, made his presence felt on that play.
Yeah, he's their best pass rusher up front. He's a guy that his numbers aren't showing you the type of impact that he's been having game in and game out, and that was a pressure right there. Not going to show up as a sack in the stat line, but moving J.J. Cole off of his spot goes a long way to helping your defense get off the field. Nice job of getting a bull rush, compresses the pocket, comes off of it, gets a hand in the quarterback's face.
Roche fields at the 33-yard line. Still on his feet. Dancing. Still going out near midfield. Well, his coaches describe him as shifty, and we saw it time after time after time before Colton Ferris finally got him to the ground following a 17-yard return.
And showed me a little bit of power and toughness there as well. I mean, he broke multiple tackles, and that's been an aspect of the game where the Monarchs have not done well, and that's why they've made the change and put Roche back there. They're dead last in punt return average in the conference and haven't been able to get any production out of it, but 4 missed tackles there by App State, and they just wasn't falling down on their own. You got to give a lot of credit to Devin Roche for making and forcing those tackles to be missed.
So that moves the tally for the game up to 15 missed tackles. 4 on 1 play is not going to help. But again, their last time out, they had more than 40 missed tackles.
And that's not winning football.
No.
Keep an eye on that.
Colton Joseph hands the football off to Traquan Jones. He is another one of these guys of the 4-man running back room, making his first appearance today. He comes in as the leading rusher for the Monarchs at nearly 500 yards on the season. But much of that damage was done in week 2 against North Carolina Central when he scored 3 times and rushed for 163 yards on only 5 carries.
That's why he's averaging 8.3.
Joseph flushed. Able to get to the sideline with Zaire Gamble, the redshirt sophomore field safety from Sumter, South Carolina, pushing him out to bring up 3rd down and 1.
Well, Joseph showed me some speed there because Kyle Arnhold had an angle on him, and he just outran that angle.
Well, Colton told us earlier this week the most improved part of his game, pre-snap awareness, which then leads to post-snap recognition, also being better.
Yeah, so that allows him to just be on time with the football. And with his experience, he understands what the defense is trying to do by the way they line up, and then he can make his decisions quicker once the ball snaps.
On 3rd and 1, rushing only 3, going to run it right up the middle for a 1st down and more. Aggressively taking the football into the linebackers. Traquan Jones got through Rondo Porter, and then Zaire Gamble finally made the tackle, but not after an 11-yard gain.
And watch Jones slow to the hole and fast through it. And you be a little bit slow to allow the offensive line to develop the blocking for you, and then you explode once that crack shows up. Excellent job by Jones there.
Yeah, Gamble got the tackle, but he also was on the receiving end of a running back coming at him full speed. Fake the handoff to Jones. Joseph directing traffic, eyes still downfield. Now he's going to tuck and run, get what he can to the 25-yard line. Good pickup. Despite good coverage downfield, a 5-yard run on 1st down.
And it's despite his own teammate Jalen Butler making the tackle. Right? I mean, that's a great form hit. Unfortunately, Jalen is on his team. Right? I mean, if he doesn't make that tackle, maybe Colton Joseph is still running.
Brown and Gladding, the dual receivers, to the bottom of your screen. Going to run it instead the other way. Jones picks his way to the 15-yard line, down to the 13-yard line. Once again, a broken tackle for App State. This time Arnhold couldn't make the play. Ferris finally did.
Well, I think Jones is hearing us tease him about his average being inflated by that huge game, but he's showing me some great patience and his explosiveness once he sees the hole, because he goes and gets it quickly.
Old Dominion coming off of back-to-back losses where they were outscored 111-51. They've controlled this game. Flags come in on the quarterback keeper by Joseph.
Monarchs there spread the defense out, and now that quarterback run game with a box that's thinned out can sometimes leave the defense with one less man. But I think they're going to get bitten by a holding call here and back this offense up.
Yeah, Skylar Grant, the left guard.
Holding. Offense, number 75. Previous spot enforcement, 10 yards. Replay, 1st down.
Got some of Kyle Arnhold's jersey, and the officials called him for it. Watch the left side of your screen.
Easy coming around on a nice pull, gets in position. I've seen worse. And in fact, I don't like the call. I'm going to be honest with you.
I've never heard you say that before on a holding.
Yeah, I mean, what does that tell me? I didn't see something that made that look obvious to me. He sustained that block and kept running. I don't know about that one.
5 plays so far in the drive, all runs. Well, he wants to throw. He's going to throw into the end zone, but his receiver is way out of the end zone. Trey Brown III was pushed out and forced out by Emory Floyd. I mean, he was almost on the backside of the white that goes around the field.
Yeah, and that's because of Floyd's position. He's in excellent position. A lot of times, defensive backs don't have to actually make the play themselves. It's their body position. If it's perfect, it forces perfection from the route and throw, and there were just no room to make that happen. So Emory Floyd, who's known for his speed now, he's a track guy, showed me great defensive technique.
Joseph fires to the left sideline, has a man at the 15-yard line. They'll spot Ja'Cory Thomas's forward progress at about the 16-yard line. Well, 7-yard gain.
And Thomas went backwards after he caught that ball, though. Like, I understand what he's trying to do, he's trying to make somebody miss, but you got to be smart. And so they did stop it after his forward progress, but he's the one that impeded his own forward progress. Sometimes you just got to take that ball and get as much as you can get, and if nothing you can get there, just get out of bounds and don't give up yardage.
On 3rd down, got to get the football inside the 4-yard line to extend the drive. Joseph has a man into the end zone wide open. Abdul-Rahim Gladden with the touchdown.
That's a coverage bust. That's a miscommunication in the back half by the Mountaineers, because that route was initially covered and the defender dropped him thinking he was passing on to someone else. And unfortunately, there was no one to pass him to. And that's why you have a wide open receiver. Nice job of turning his body, talking about Abdul-Rahim Gladden to turn and contort his body to make the catch, but that was just a mistake by the Mountaineer secondary.
That allowed the 16-yard touchdown pass to Naeem Abdul-Rahim Gladden. And once again, the O-line for ODU has stood up so far today. The leader of that pack is their left tackle, Zach Barlev, playing with a club on his right hand today. He sets the tone, and setting the tone to start this 3rd quarter, he helps ODU drive the football down the field for its 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And now for our Fansville College football update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Well, UCLA had been stringing together wins, but when you go to Bloomington, Indiana, against the 2nd-ranked Hoosiers, whole different set of circumstances in the Big Ten these days.
Who knew that Indiana would be the dream killers of the Big Ten now, right? I mean, UCLA was a nice story for about almost a month, but yeah, that dream has ended in a nightmare. And how good are the Indiana Hoosiers? We're going to find out really soon.
And that huge game for the group of 6 rivals with South Florida, the 18th ranked Bulls, leading a big-time game with college football playoff implications. Nathaniel Eichner will kick it off to Kamani Alexander after Colton Joseph threw his 2nd touchdown. 6th time he's had more than 1 touchdown in a game so far this season to make the score 17-7 Old Dominion.
So we talked about how the slow starts in the second half have plagued the Monarchs. The last 2 games outscored 56-14 combined in the second half. So now they get a great stop on defense and pay it off with their offense getting a touchdown. So check that. Got off to a great start. Now, if you're the Mountaineers, you've got to respond. You've got to keep pace now. You did a great job of scoring at the end of the half to make this a 3-point game. Now it's back to 10. And you can't let it get any further than that. So you've got to respond.
Again, Old Dominion, in their loss to James Madison last week, had 10 total yards of offense in the second half.
Unbelievable.
So they have wiped that off the board so far here today, early in the 3rd quarter. Down goes the quarterback, J.J. Cole. It's a 4-yard loss on the sack by Ricardo Williams Jr.
Ricardo's a transfer from Georgia State, and he did not go for the fake. I love the aggressiveness. When in doubt, hit the quarterback. I love that. That's a huge play to get this offense off schedule.
Cole responds by giving it to Dubinion. They get a lot of that and much more back. It'll bring up 3rd down and 1. Caden Sweat on the stop after a 13-yard pickup.
Yeah, love the call. I mean, continue to give him the football. Like I said, he's not the leading rusher in the conference for no reason.
Check that Caden Sweat. The left guard making a nice block to help spring that run. So now 3rd down and 1. Do you throw it here? Do you run it here?
Well, it's 3rd and 1, like you said, and your quarterback is 6'7", 245 pounds. Sneak him.
Gonna roll it out. Has Dozier downfield. Instead, checks it down to his main man, Jaden Barnes, and it's a 1st down pass play.
So we talked about who was going to step up in the absence of Isaiah Cummings, and it has become completely obvious that that guy is Jaden Barnes. He's been the security blanket, the new security blanket. And how about the play call? Like the difficulty, the degree of difficulty was up there a little bit. And Cole had to get on his horse to get outside and throw an accurate ball in a move, which he's shown he can do.
Barnes, 8 catches, goes out of the game for this one. Dalton Stroman has come in to the tight end. Came in Hamlet.
Well, Kanan, we know what happened there. And he wanted to run it before he caught it. First things first, number 86.
On the field is an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
Catch the football, then you run. There's a hierarchy of the way this thing works, Doug.
Yep.
When the ball's thrown to you, you catch it first, then you turn and get whatever you can get. And he had it backwards, and that's why the ball ended up on the ground.
And again, we did get official word that Isaiah Cummings, their all-conference type tight end who suffered a leg injury in the 1st half, won't return today, and so it's left to the backups.
Ricardo Williams again in the backfield causing havoc along with Gibson. Watch the penetration. Just trying to run an inside zone right in the A gap. And we saw these defensive line working on the inside runs down the field. Doug, they were showing how they were going to take away those A gap runs, and it's shown up. That practice pre-game is showing up in the game now.
Cole has a man. Big hit. Incomplete. Leveled was Jaden Barnes by Brandon Crutchfield. Jeremy Mack also there on the tackle, but the 1-2 shot, you could see the pain on Barnes immediately putting his hand to his back as the ball fell to the turf.
Yeah, and this is one of those deals where, hey, Ty, I thought you said that, you know, wide receivers can be defenseless players. And I'm saying you're right. I mean, I thought they're trying to protect guys in this situation. That was a huge hit. Again, from my day, that's all legal. I don't think it was to the head or anything like that, but that is a defenseless player, and that is a big hit I like how he came in shoulder first. And obviously, Barnes is in a tremendous amount of pain.
Well, it was Crutchfield's big hit on the opening play last week at James Madison that forced the fumble that was picked up by Lucas Struck and run in for a touchdown. Crutchfield's been a big play cornerback. Interception week 2 against North Carolina Central. Making his first career start today.
Give a ton of credit for Crutchfield for not going to the head and neck area.
Yep.
And in my day, that's what you would have aimed for.
But that's the byproduct of the new targeting rules as the guys have retrained themselves. So on 4th down, Ratliff to punt. Good punt. Fair catch made by Devin Roche. We'll take a break, although we've got a flag down at about the 32-yard line, so we'll wait to see what the laundry's about. Other than the touchdown drive on the final possession of the first half, App State's offense has punted now 4 of its last 5 drives.
There's no foul for illegal formation. Timeout.
So now we'll take our break. Old Dominion holding on to a 10-point lead midway through the 3rd. The Old Dominion front 5 of Barlev, Grant, Joyce, Woodsma, and Dubose-Bourne have done the job so far here this afternoon, Tioka.
Yeah, they've turned to that ground and pound. I mean, this is a running back who has fresh legs. And we talked about his high average per carry, but he's showing us the patience it takes to be very efficient in the run game. And once you get the run game going, the play action pass opens the entire field up for your outstanding quarterback, Colton Joseph.
And so now after his one drive, running back Traquan Jones back on the sideline. Mark-I James back out there. As Ricky Ronnie, the head coach for the Monarchs, has used now 4 different starting running backs this season. The fake.
Oh, my goodness.
Nicely done. Colton Joseph showing his athleticism to make a play for 17 yards.
And then watch him be an actor. Direct snap. I'm running it, guys. Oh, no, I'm not. Throws the accurate ball. Even over the official, he can't break it up. But the patience to draw the defense and throw an accurate ball was sensational.
Same play we saw in the first for the touchdown. Helps to open up things against the defense. Ja'Cory Thomas. Brayshawn Littlejohn with the tackle. Check that. That was Mark-I James coming out of the backfield.
These designs, though, Doug, are diabolical. I mean, the things that they're doing to the eyes of the defense is really, really hard.
James takes the handoff, shows patience until he is stood up by Caleb Sandstrom, former St. Thomas Tommy.
So what those type of designs do to you, it slows you down. And so now you come back and bam, punch in the face with an A-gap run or an off-tackle run. So because you're not sure if what you're seeing you can believe.
1st and 10, Old Dominion. James picks his way forward. Draped around his legs, Brayshawn Littlejohn, the former Missouri Tiger, with the tackle, holding him to maybe a 1-yard pickup.
Wholesale changes on that defensive line, getting fresh legs in because the Monarchs offensive line is starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, St. Ferrier, DeNigel Cooper just went to the sideline. Caleb Pitts has come on. True freshman from Auburn, Alabama, number 94. Joseph surveying the field again. He's got all day. Still got the eyes down the field, wants to throw it, does throw it, and it's an incomplete pass.
The last second he decided, oh, this is going to be a sack. I don't want to hurt my offensive line. Let me throw this ball away. Which is really, and that offensive line loves him for that. Trust me, they came in only giving up 1 sack every 20 attempts. So they love when your quarterback protects you like that.
And whether he knew it or not, he had the hardest hitter on this App State defense, Jalen Willis, in pursuit. And so he saved a yard, maybe 2, by getting rid of the football.
Look at a good
Would
look
have
at Ron
saved
Joyce.
a few. Roche's in there on 3rd down and long alongside the quarterback, Joseph. Here comes the rush, and down goes the quarterback in the arms of Littlejohn.
Now, you talked about a spy, and it sure looked like they might have had one there. I mean, the way Littlejohn reacted, that was drop back pass. Let's see if we see him hanging around the line of scrimmage, looking for number 12 in white, and that's just an all-out blitz is what that is. And he just comes off the block and makes a play. So they have decided that no more are we going to allow Colton Joseph to sit back, relax, and find the open man. We're going to heat this pocket up, and I love the adjustment by defensive coordinator DJ Smith. Understanding the assignment, we have got to heat this pocket up.
Yeah, and he calls Littlejohn an elite pass rusher. Makes a big play there to get the defense off the field. Fair catch is made by Jaden Barnes. 17-7 after the 40-yard punt. And now let's take a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by Prudential. And the one score that has just changed there is that Oklahoma has taken a 26-25 lead over Ole Miss in Norman. With Tioka Jackson, I'm Doug Sherman. Back in Norfolk, Virginia on homecoming at Old Dominion University. Both these teams 4-3 coming in, division rivals in the Sun Belt East. J.J. Cole gets hit as he releases the football. Seth Nawatala, and he is the older brother of the two Nawatala linebackers. He started his career at James Madison. Actually, his younger brother is typically the starter, but
There's
Cole.
no foul for intentional ground. Number 15 is in the area. Second down.
Coe is out injured, and so Seth is the starter and a playmaker there. We should also mention, again, Old Dominion playing this season without Jason Henderson, their two-time All-American linebacker, arguably the greatest player in program history because of a devastating knee injury. And so he made the choice back in September to step away from the sport. Mario Easterly making the play for Old Dominion there against Rashad Dubinion.
Timeout officially.
Well, without your two all-conference, one All-American linebacker, other guys have to make plays. And so today, one of those guys is Zion Frank, number 6 cornerback. He's got 8 tackles, 4 solos. He's the leading tackler so far for Old Dominion. Here comes Cole. Slides at the 25-yard line. Seth Nawatala on the tackle. They're going to mark his forward progress at the 25-yard line, just enough for a first down.
And that's because he slid forward. And had he started to slide feet first, he would not have gotten that first down. So give the young quarterback some credit to go head first to make sure he got the ball across the line of the game.
The ruling on the field is that the quarterback made the line of the game. The previous play is under video review.
Yeah.
Okay.
Timeout.
Did he get a favorable spot?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we learned today that they review basically every play.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting. The conversation before the game, and every week the replay officials come and say hello and ask if we have any questions. And as they said, they review every single play. They don't stop the game unless they need to or feel like they need to. And so now this is under review. Where did they mark the football when his knee went down?
So here's the question. You know, you said he slid, and the question is, did he dive or slide? And I'm wondering, did he dive? If you dive, you got to mark it where the ball is when he goes down. Then check that right knee. See, once he puts that knee down first, that's the first thing that contacts the ground. Once his knee touches the ground, the play is over, and wherever the ball is at that moment, that's where the new line of scrimmage will be. And so I think that was a slight error now. I was giving him some compliment going head first, but he really didn't dive. He kind of, like you said, it was a half slide, half dive, putting that knee down, and that stops the play. The question is, where is the ball when that knee touches the ground? At the very moment that knee touches, that's where the ball should be spotted. And I think that is a favorable spot.
But it's pretty close to where on those 4 replays I think the ball was.
Well, that's debatable, and I guess that's what the debate is going on right now. I'm not sure. The question is, did they give him an angle to show that that was a little bit of a favor? I think it was favorable, and I think the ball's a little behind that, but, you know, that's what they're looking for. And
At the video review, the runner was short of the line of the game. The football will be placed at the 24-yard line. It will be 4th and 1 yard.
So indeed it was a favorable spot. And so it's 4th down and 1, and they mark it all the way back inside the 24-yard line.
Now, I didn't think it was that favorable. that's interesting. But I think the coaching point here for young J.J. Cole will be to dive for that first down. Don't put your knee down. You know, because he wasn't being tackled. He didn't have to put that knee down first. If he just extends that 6'7" body, they'd still have the football. They wouldn't be they'd be punting the ball away right now. And as much as we talked about the diabolical decisions to fake it and stuff here, in this area, I think you cannot do that. You got to punt the football away.
And so Ratliff out for his 5th punt of the day, averaging 40 yards per punt so far.
And as I say that, they break the formation and show you some eye candy. I still think this is going to be a punt.
Indeed it is. Roche going to try to return it. Does well to pick up 4 or 5 yards on the return. 42-yard punt. Tomorrow morning, we'll have the first Clásico of the La Liga season on ESPN2 and the all-new ESPN app. Real Madrid hosts Barcelona. Madrid sits atop the table with 24 points, while Barca is in second with 22. Coverage begins 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. There's Ricky Ronnie, the head coach in his 6th year at Old Dominion. This is just his 5th season actually coaching games because he was hired with the pandemic going on. And so ODU did not play games in the fall of 2020, but he is a 6th year head coach, the longest tenured head coach now in the Sun Belt Conference.
Wow, how about that?
Now the starting running back Devin Roche back into the football game. Sprints out. 3 receivers to the right with an empty backfield. A design look of a run, and Joseph had an option to go or throw, and Kyle Arnhold wound up tackling him after just a short gain.
Strong tackle by Arnhold. I saw some indecision there. A little bit of hesitancy from Colton Joseph. Something you don't see normally from him.
Roche bounces it outside. Nobody lays a hand on him until he's to the 3rd level. Tackled at the 45-yard line by Gamble and Floyd. It's a 15-yard gain to move the chains.
Of running backs with 8 carries or more, he's tied for the lead in all of college football in average per carry. And this is how he's doing it. He comes off the bench with fresh legs and patience, but also the acceleration is really eye-popping.
Kind of the Muggsy Bogues of this football team out of Dunbar High School in Baltimore.
I see what you did there.
That one through the hands of Jalen Butler. You remember the greatest true high school basketball team in the history of this country.
Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Williams,
David Wingate, Reggie Lewis. 3 first-round picks, a second-round pick.
On one high school team. I remember my dad took me to watch them play, and man, what a treat that was for me. Legends.
Well, Devin Roche making Dunbar proud today, making his first start as a running back at Old Dominion, the redshirt sophomore out of the Charm City.
You love to get that basketball in, don't you?
Gotta have it. And don't tell me Devin Roche can't ball a little bit himself. Here he stays in to pass protect. Nicely done. Trey Brown sliding for the catch. Young man who was part of a national championship team last year at the junior college level at Hutchinson. Able to get a step on Emory Floyd and make a big play.
Yeah, 6'2", 180 pounds, and they say he's got deceptive speed. He just eats up grass, and that was a great post route. A little skinny post. No pass rush at all. That ball comes out beautifully.
Joseph to throw. Lost the football. It's bouncing on the turf. ODU will keep it. Nice job to recover that football. DuBose born.
Moving on the field is a fumble by the offense, recovered by the offense.
At 6'4", was just tall enough to reach out and grab it.
Nobody touched him. He just dropped his football. Oh yeah, he tried to pull it back down. That was give it credit for the pressure though. From who was that? I think that was Caleb Pitts. Caleb Pitts, the true freshman, pressured him, made him feel it, and he dropped that football. Almost a tuck rule situation there.
Gladding and Brown, the receivers to the bottom of your screen. Looking the other way, though, is Colton Joseph. Dumps it off. Nice pickup as Jalen Butler, who was every bit of 6'4", adjusts to the pass and makes the play.
Yeah, so again, show some athleticism. Getting that big body around. They like both of their tight ends. They say their tight ends are both two-way players. They're not just receivers, not just blockers, and they don't call it any different when either tight end, Butler or Johnson, is in the game.
Butler's from Chicago. Dawson Johnson, the other tight end, a redshirt freshman transfer from Florida, where he had walked on with the Gators. Joseph on the crossing pattern, has a man in stride. He's going to walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Ja'Cory Thomas. There is a flag at the goal line, and the officials will confirm. Well, either way, it's good for the ODU offense to have a healthy Ja'Cory Thomas back on the field. He missed last week's game at James Madison.
After the play, personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 7. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. It's also the play is a touchdown.
Well, Jordan Favors is locked up with Roche, and a little bit of frustration there. As a defender, you never want to be still engaged after the play is over. That means that you've been blocked up and blocked pretty good. Nice job by Roche. We talked about his pass pro, very physical player, even at his diminutive size.
Out of the hold of Brandt, Callahan puts his foot on the football and kicks it through for the point after, as ODU seizes control. And the former Cornell Athletics Hall of Fame quarterback Ricky Ronnie likes what he has seen from Caleb Joseph, his quarterback, with that 24-yard touchdown run. Now has 3 touchdown passes to 3 different receivers to Nate Tioka.
This is what, his 7th or 6th game of multi-touchdown passes this season, and there's 2 ways to beat man coverage. You can go deep, the vertical passing game, or you can go across the field and let your speedy receiver run away from the man coverage, and that's exactly what happened there. Just running on a shallow cross. Hard to stay with fast guys running across the field that way.
And Ricky Ronnie has loved what he's seen out of his redshirt sophomore quarterback, who flushed the 3 turnover effort in Boone last year and the loss to App State, and has clearly flushed the second half collapse at James Madison last week, where he, throwing the football, was only 1 of 8 for 5 yards and 2 interceptions. He's got 2 touchdowns throwing already in the 3rd quarter for a 24-7 lead.
Here's the byproduct of that face mask penalty. Old Dominion's going to kick from the 50-yard line. How often do you see that?
Come on, kick it through the uprights.
Even you can make it to the end zone in that situation.
No. Have you ever seen me kick a football?
No,
not a chance. I'd have broken 3 toes, been rolling around on the turf, and the ball would have maybe gone 5 yards.
Well, with that breakfast of champions I saw you eating earlier, though, the amount of the sausage patties that was on your plate, I figured it would just give you a boost in your leg, no?
Maybe I'd have gotten 8 yards. Still would have broken the 3 toes, though. Well, Ricky Ronnie and his team in control now. 24-7 late in the 3rd quarter. App State this half, 3 drives, 3 punts, just 1 first down, and their punter has been very busy all afternoon long.
I think this is danger time for the Mountaineers. You have got to do something to stem this tide.
J.J. Cole has a man over the middle. It's about a 4-yard pickup.
Still think you need to get back to that vertical passing game. And a lot of things are shallow, outside. You have got to find a way to loosen up this defense and get some vertical routes.
1 more play before the end of the 3rd quarter. Pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. That was Chris Trinidad making the play.
Plays hard.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Timeout.
A big 3rd quarter for Old Dominion. And the Monarchs have seized control on homecoming, trying to put this one to bed as we head to the 4th quarter. Start of the fourth quarter, Old Dominion 24, App State 7. We're joined by Monarchs head coach Ricky Ronnie. What have you liked about that third quarter, how the offense was able to possess the football and put it in the end zone?
Yeah, I mean, I think we took advantage of our opportunities more. We still missed a couple hits in the run game, but we were able to get some explosives there. I think the key right now is the way the defense is flying around, running the football, and we're able to get some field position.
Coach, it looks like you've gotten all your backs involved. Can you talk about the ability to have fresh legs come in and dominate at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've talked all year about our depth. I think that's one of the things in today's day and age. You got to have depth. And we have that at running back. We have that at a bunch of different positions. I mean, you know, I hate to go back to the defense, but we got 9 defensive linemen playing and playing pretty well. I think that's why you see, you know, a guy like Ahmad Foster chasing down, you know, a 300-pound defensive tackling somebody on the sideline.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Coach.
On 4th down and 1, Cole should have been picked off into the arms of Keyshawn Thomas, who could not make the catch, but the ODU defense will get off the field.
Oh, wow, Keyshawn. What a great job of baiting the quarterback. You were the robber on that play. Did everything right except for catch that football. My goodness. J.J. Cole thinks that he's got a situation with man coverage and he's got an open spot, but nope, he doesn't. And you got to make that catch. Come on. Woo!
Well, he does get a pass defended. Yes. And so Dowell Logan's team.
So you're saying he gets in the stat sheet with a PBU?
Well, yeah, of course he does.
Not,
That,
right?
you know, positive spin.
But I guarantee you he's going to get
yelled
at in the meeting.
But it's a turnover on downs, and so now the Old Dominion offense with its multifaceted running game that has picked up 130 yards on 32 carries so far. Part of that is their quarterback. Somebody lost a shoe, Brayshawn Littlejohn with the tackle, but Joseph and then Jones, James, Hargrove, and Roche have all been productive running the football.
No question about it. And you heard Coach, I wanted to talk about those backs, but he brought it back to the D-line, which I love, as you know. That's the heart of your team. But I mean, these backs are starting to wear down the defense of the Mountaineers. Fresh legs coming in and continue to pound, and then obviously you add in your quarterback and it just becomes an avalanche.
Roche, who got the start today, picks his way.
When you have that many guys, though, it creates competition. And when you're in the game, you want to be the guy that show out. And then when you're not in the game, you are thinking, I need to get something done when I come in, or you're going to turn to the other guy. And so all that does just makes everybody better, hungrier. So when you're in, you can be a playmaker for this offense.
And today that was Traquan Jones. Didn't play in the first half, came on with fresh legs in the third quarter, and he has been good here in the second half. But now back to the starter, Devin Roche. Pass a little too short. Trying to find Trey Brown.
It's the second time we've seen Colton Joseph do that. Just sort of pull the string on it. Just doesn't, for whatever reason, trust his arm when he has all the talents you need to make that throw. It's a long throw from the far hash, but that's something certainly he can make. And boy, he'd like to have that one back.
So now 3rd down and 10. The line to gain is the 13. On a design quarterback run, Colton Joseph going to come up a little bit short to bring up 4th and 2. DJ Burks had a shot at the quarterback early.
Wouldn't be shocked if they go.
Well, they certainly give the appearance they're going to go for it.
So you're getting in this time in the game, you're trying to slam the door shut.
24-7. Play clock still has 15 seconds.
And they're being smart with it and bleeding it.
Yeah, certainly no hurry here for ODU. Joseph gets rid of it, has a first down. Down inside the 5-yard line. Abdul Rahim Gladding once again.
And see, to me, that's the right call. When your defense is playing this well, you can go ahead and take chances like that and try to see if you can get a touchdown, which may be close to ending the game.
Joseph improvising. tackled at the 1-yard line. Good pursuit by Kevin Abrams-Verwain, the 7th-year defensive lineman from Marietta, Georgia.
We talked about how tough App State is in this area of the field. They're going to need to bow their necks right now. I mean, the game is really on the line, and false start there.
Well, Ryan Joyce, the center, is who his teammates call Grandpa.
False start, offense. False start, offense. The right side of the formation, 5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
The whole right side. Huh?
Yeah, Grandpa never snapped the football.
Yeah, there you go. And who are you calling Grandpa? Because that's how you usually talk about me.
Not me,
Okay.
Mr. Graybeard. Ryan Joyce is called that by his teammates, apparently. He spent the last 6 years at Fordham University in the Bronx.
This is 54th start of his career.
He was always a guard until this year. After the transfer, he is the center and leader up front. Joseph thought about it, could have run for it. Instead, it's an incomplete pass off the hands of Abdul Rahim Gladding.
You say he could have run in, he could have walked in. I mean, that's how wide open, and I'm shocked he didn't do it. Usually, Colton Joseph is on the right end of the decision making. You watch this, you're going to see nothing but green grass to the right side of the screen. And defenders running away from him with their back turn.
Right. Instead, it's an incompletion. Now 3rd down and goal. Deflected, intercepted. Big play for the defense from the Mountaineers to help keep them.
Interception by the defense. Appalachian State football. First and
Helping
10.
to keep them in this football game. What a huge stop for App State. Zaire Gamble gets the ball that was batted up by Rondo Porter. The Mountaineers keep the door open for a comeback here in the 4th quarter. Let's take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. And we've got 2 players on the same play. We could choose Rondo Porter, number 44, the deflection. And Zaire Gamble from the field safety position with his 3rd career interception. He had the game clincher against Old Dominion last year, and then back on October 4th this year against Oregon State to seal that win over the Beavers. He has waited his turn, earned his stripes, and now with a big play. And with a quarterback change, A.J. Swan is drilled at about the goal line as he was getting rid of the football with a flag down in the end zone.
Well, how about the way to baptize him on his first play, a big hit, but it looks like it might have been illegal.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 35 on the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
Let's take a look at this hit. What's going on? I don't know. I mean, Javen Gibson, look, that looked pretty benign to me, partner. I'm just being honest. I mean, look, I understand they're trying to protect the quarterbacks and whatever.
Yeah, that was 36, not 35. So Gibson, pass complete. First completion by A.J. Swan, finds his tight end Kanan Hamlet.
Still tackle football, last time I checked.
It is. It is. Well, A.J. Swan is a 6'2", 220-pound redshirt junior from Canton, Georgia, out of Cherokee High School. First week of the season, he was the Sun Belt Conference Offensive Player of the Year. He put that pass right where it needed to be, but Mbake couldn't squeeze it. But Swan is really a gunslinger, and that's how his coach views him, and sometimes that's good, and sometimes it gets him in trouble, Tioka.
Yeah, when you got wide open receivers, he can hit him, there's no question about it, but gunslinger means he takes some chances, maybe that he shouldn't. He got hurt against Boise, but, you know, he's made some big plays this year.
That was the 5th drop of the day by App State receivers, caught there but for no gain. Zion Frank with yet another tackle, this time bringing down Hamlet for no yards after the catch.
That's 10 tackles now for Zion Frank. A very productive game. And usually when your DBs are making that many tackles, it's not good for the defense, but I think it's really about how shallow this passing game has been and how sure and aggressive his tackling has been.
3rd down, nearly 10 for Swan, who's completed 60% of his passes this year. 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Over the middle, has a man, complete, but unable to get to the line to gain was Hamlet.
I think this is 4-down territory, and if I were App State, I'd do it with some tempo if you could.
Frank in on another tackle with Jerome Carter Jr. this time. And yeah, you've got to go for it here.
And I think the Mountaineers will be best served to just speed this tempo up altogether. Just start going no huddle and allow your quarterback to get into a rhythm.
They convert for a 3rd time today on 4th down. Dozier off the pass from Swan, and that stops the clock with 9:54 remaining.
Look, you're down 3 scores, and I understand that clock has stopped, got out of bounds, got the 1st down. But you're down 3 scores, and there you go, line up on the line of scrimmage. I think you get some tempo going just to save clock, but a lot of times you'll see a quarterback get into rhythm in situations like this.
Swan puts some air underneath it, but he overthrows the intended receiver, Dozier. There's a flag back near midfield.
I think we got another personal foul on the same guy. Swan's got to be thinking, I just got healthy a couple weeks ago, and you guys are trying to put me in the 10 again.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 90. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
So that's Chris Forbes, the redshirt freshman out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, who played some of his high school football on a field with your name on it, Tioka Jackson.
Yes, at Bishop McNamara High School. Then he transferred to Bullis Prep, and the problem there was he went low and he didn't have to. And it's really hard as a defender because you go too high, that's a problem. You go too low, that's a problem. But in that situation, you got to stay above the knee and just put a hit right in his midsection.
3rd personal foul on ODU today. Back to the air. Swan has a man, perfectly thrown, thread the needle. Hamlet walks into the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, you called it. That was a perfect throw because you had cover 2. The safety's coming off the hash. That ball had to be fitted in, and it had to be done on time. He threw it early, took a little off, floated it over the underneath defender, and it hit his receiver's hand in stride. There's the fake. Ball comes out just before the safety can get over. And how about Kanan, though? Hamlin stepping in for the injured Cummings and comes up with a huge play for the Mountaineers.
Ramey was just a half step slow getting there. Dominic DeFreitas kicks it up and in. A 35-yard touchdown, aided by a couple of personal fouls on a 91-yard drive. And what do you know? We've got a ball game again, partner.
A.J. Hamlin makes a huge play from Swan and said, we're not dead yet.
Saturday kickoff is for you by Allstate. Good hands.
The Mountaineers didn't make that 6-hour bus drive down the mountain to get here to Norfolk, not to play a complete 60-minute football game. They are still in it, Tioka.
You got to give them a ton of credit. I mean, they are fighting. I love it.
Markai James, Devin Roche back deep to receive after the sustained scoring drive for App State. Cash McVay will kick it off, number 43 in white. He is the kickoff specialist. This is James. He'll run it out. Big special teams tackle by Ronnie Porter. The South Carolina transfer continues to make plays both as a linebacker and on special teams.
So what we're seeing right now is the momentum has now shifted to the Mountaineers sideline. And defensively, they did a great job once again, as they've been doing all year, in the red zone, creates a turnover. The offense takes the ball down the field and score. Complimentary football. It's going to need to be that way the rest of the game. And the defense has to answer the bell again. A quick 3 and out will be perfect.
And by bringing that football out of the end zone, he cost his team some 15 yards. And on their last possession, it appeared that Colton Joseph could have easily just walked into the end zone. Instead, later in that possession, he threw an interception. A touchdown could have sealed the game. Instead, App State, like you said, has wrestled momentum away.
Speaking of wrestling, that's a nice tackle by Kyle Arnholt. Excuse me, that's Colton Ferris. Colton Ferris now has 10 tackles, number 10. 10 for 10, I like it. Symmetry.
The former 182-pound state champion wrestler from Beaufort, South Carolina. Fake the handoff to Jones. Quick pass to the near sideline. Naeem Abdul-Rahim Gladding moved the chains, possessed the football. Favors and Burks were in coverage for App State.
It's a little 7 versus 7 action right there. Number 7 on defense, Favors, was late. So you wonder what happened there on that coverage, because the other number 7, Abdul-Rahim Gladding, was wide open in the flat.
Keep it on the ground with Jones, able to get to the 35 and a little bit more before Sandstrom brought him down.
That's smart to continue to run the football in this situation. You've had some success with all 4 of your backs. You see a stoppage in play.
Arnholt lost his helmet on that
Please
last
set the
play.
game clock to 8:17.
And so he had to go to the sideline for one play. Jalen Willis has come in to replace Arnholt.
And this is where being a balanced offense can really do a lot of damage to a defense. This is the number 1 passing TD offense, number 2 in passing efficiency as a team, but they can still run the football.
Well, Colton Joseph already has 3 touchdown passes today. One more would be a career high. Zaire Gamble stood up, Gladding, and made sure he wasn't going to get first down yardage.
Well, it took a lot of hustle. I mean, a play like that is hoping that someone loafs from the football. Zaire came all the way from the middle of the field, a safety position off the hash, made us just an outstanding open field tackle.
Pitch and catch, first down. Abdul-Rahim Gladding got the better of Zaire Gamble that time for a 10-yard gain.
It's the timing of the throw, because the coverage was outstanding. But when the throw and catch are perfect, it's often indefensible, and that's what we saw right there.
Under 7 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. It's a 2-score game. But the Monarchs are not in a hurry as they bleed more clock.
App State now, one of their opponents is the clock, and the Monarchs know it. And this is exactly what they should be doing.
Little confusion as Jones goes back to the backfield. Here comes pressure. Jones going to try to run right through it. Hit it midfield by Rondo Porter. That'll bring up 2nd down and 8.
Well, they talked about how violent Porter is, number 44 in white. Just a violent run defender. Every time he makes tackles, you see it and feel it.
Rondarius Rondo Porter just turned 22 on Wednesday. Roche, the running back. Got Jalen Butler, one of the tight ends, also in the backfield as Joseph gets the play from the sideline. App State rushing 3. Joseph all day has a man in stride. Abdul-Rahim Gladding one more time. It's another Old Dominion first down.
And that's perfect execution on how you kill the clock, folks. That ball is snapped inside of 4 seconds, and a relatively easy read, safe read on the post. But the timing, again, the ball beats the safety who's coming in from inside out. It's just really smart football.
Joseph, one of the captains, makes another good throw right on target to Ja'Cory Thomas. He picks up 9. Favors and Johnson with the tackle. Coming up at 3:30 Eastern on ABC and the all-new ESPN app. 4th-ranked Alabama squares off against South Carolina at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. And at 7:30 Eastern, number 20 LSU hosts number 3 Texas A&M in Death Valley. Seems like a must-win coming up tonight for LSU.
If you're defensive coordinator of App State, DJ Smith, you're going to have to start taking some chances. You're going to have to start bringing some people and see if you can make a big splash play, whether that's a TFL or knock the ball loose or something.
Second down, less than a yard. Fake the handoff to Roche. Now Joseph trying to create. Gets out of the pocket and just throws the football away. Good job by St. Ferrier and Caleb Pitts. A couple of the big guys up front to get after the QB.
And nice job of throwing the ball away. Don't put it at risk. There was no receiver out there, but once you're outside of the tackle box, as long as you get the ball to the line of scrimmage, there won't be any downing. So that's really smart there. But what that does do is stop the clock, and that's just a good play by App State. Now they've got to pay it off. It's 3rd and inches.
Roche just puts his head down, and the young man who was offered by Virginia Tech, by Maryland, able to get the first down.
Inside zone, running behind Ryan Joyce and company. So they got a bunch of people movers up front. Skylar Grant, Joyce, Martin Woodsma, very physical players.
Yeah, the coach made a point to say yesterday, Zach Barlev wants to move people. And he does. And
Yep.
again, he is on the NFL scouts radar. That's the left tackle, number 64. Roche dragged down by Rondo Porter after a short gain.
You see Ryan Joyce helping him out, trying to drag him for as many yards as he can get.
Timeout. Appalachian State. First timeout.
App State calls timeout. We'll take a break and be back to Norfolk in a moment. First half, and it was the first explosive of the day for Colton Joseph of the Monarchs.
And I like the design. He started off with a quarterback run look, drew the entire defensive set of eyes, and slipped Mr. Hargrove, the running of the bull, and he had enough speed to finish that thing off.
And he has been sharing the love. Gladding has a career high in receptions and receiving yards. Joseph has thrown for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and also is the game's leading rusher. 16 carries, 65 yards. Going to run it again, trying to get the corner. He is trapped down from behind by Abrams. Verwain. He's celebrating. They think Burks recovered the football, but the officials saying no, it will stay with ODU.
Well, it's going to be a discussion because I think the defender's feet were out of bounds when he touched it before he could get control of the football. And if your part of your body is out of bounds on a loose ball, it's as if the ball rolled out of bounds itself. I think that's what this discussion is about. It's going to get reviewed, no question about it. So the ball's going to come out.
The ruling on the field was a fumble that was fumbled forward and touched by the defense while he was out of bounds. That makes the ball out of bounds. The ball brings ball back to the spot of the fumble. 3rd down.
And so he's going to initially touch it while he's still in bounds, but he doesn't control it until his body is out of bounds. So there's the touch, and then, well, you know, this needs to be reviewed because that is very close. It looks like his lower body slides out, but did it actually touch the white? So he touches it right there. Right there, he touched it. Now he's trying to recover it, and ooh, it's a lot closer than it looked initially when it was live.
Right. Did either of his knees get to the white? Did either of his feet touch the white before he actually secured it?
This needs to be reviewed, and it is.
The ruling on the field was a fumble that was recovered by the defense while he was out of bounds, making an out-of-bounds recovery, which the ball belongs to Old Dominion. The previous play is under video review. Timeout.
Now, if he had the presence of mind to purposely keep his legs up, that's a really smart play.
No question about it. And it looked, the way he bent them, it looks like he did have that presence. So the ball's out, no question that's a fumble. Tap there. Now watch his body, watch his legs. Oh my goodness. I looked at that right foot. The left foot never touches the white. The right foot comes close, but see, we're blocked now by number 1. We can't see if that right foot ever touched. I think here's our best angle right here.
But again, it's got to be indisputable.
That's right.
To be able to overturn it.
See, but he's got control of the ball, though. So if we could back it up a little bit and see if the toe touched before or after control of the ball. If he controls that ball before it touched, that's App State ball. Now, if he touches his teammates who's standing out of bounds, that is my understanding he's out of bounds. So let's see if he even touches his teammate. Doesn't look like it. Man, that is bang, bang. I don't think that's enough to overturn it. I got a feeling he got control of that ball before he touched the white, but that's not good enough to reverse it. It has to be undisputable or indisputable.
After video review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
Yeah.
Old Dominion, 3rd down.
Well, I think they got it right.
Yeah.
We did not see anything where you would definitely say.
The best you can say was questionable.
Yep. Well, a huge play. And so now after the fumble, Old Dominion keeps the football with a 3rd down coming up.
Appalachian State is using their timeout because the clock will come back on the ready for play. Timeout. This is their 2nd timeout of the 2nd half. 30 seconds.
Well, again, Colton Joseph having a redemptive type game against the Mountaineers. He went up to Boone last year, turned the ball over 4 times. He did have his career high in receiving, or rather passing yards. And he's putting up big numbers again today against App State. He's just done a better job of not turning the football over.
And listen, I mean, he's thrown the 1 interception and he's fumbled twice. They were just lucky enough to get the ball back both times. So the ball has been out.
And what a drive. This is the type of game-winning drive. If that's the way it turns out, the Monarchs can hang their hat on. They started this possession on their own 9-yard line with 9:20 on the clock. So they've chewed up almost 6 minutes here in the 4th quarter at winning time.
That's how you slam the door on a football team.
Roche's the running back. Joseph to the end zone. He was trying to find Abdul Rahim Gladding. but got a little bit of pressure, and Aiden Benton may have sped up his clock.
Yeah, they said he's got heavy hands, and he put his hands on Joseph right there. Excellent rush. That's the only reason that ball was incomplete, because it looked like he had an open receiver, but that's the power of a pass rush, and that's why it's invaluable. If you can rush without having to blitz and speed the quarterback up, you're doing something. That's exactly. And it hasn't been pretty in terms of the pass rush and consistent all day, but Benton showed up when they needed him.
A 39-yard attempt for Riley Callahan, who has already missed twice this afternoon. Plenty of leg, and it is no good left. So it's still a 10-point game at 24-14.
And you can say whatever you want about bad luck or whatever with these kicks, but this is the best red zone defense in the conference. They do it to everybody. They force kicks at high efficiency, and right now you got a kicker who doesn't have any confidence. Because again, we watched him booming like an NFL kicker in warm-ups. See Coach Ronnie's reaction. He's not happy about it. I talked about this is how you slam the door shut. Well, the door is still cracked open.
Well, they have made their share of mistakes here in the fourth quarter. Joseph didn't run to the end zone when it was wide open for what could have been a touchdown. Then he was intercepted. A couple of personal fouls allowed the 35-yard touchdown, and here comes App State one more time. Rashad Dubinion on the pass from A.J. Swan.
I like the job that Swan did right there. So often your quarterbacks come in the game trying to make a play. In this situation, just take the check down and move the football. No negative plays. You can't have any negative plays in this situation. You don't want to take any sacks.
Clock under 3 minutes now. Swan caught near the first down marker to Dozier. Brandon Crutchfield, the defensive back, did his best to keep him from getting a first down, but he couldn't do it. So move the sticks.
Got to hustle back to the line. You got to move faster than this.
App State has just the one timeout remaining. Swan on the move, in and out of the hands of Hamlet. It's another drop for this Mountaineers receiving team. Their 6th drop of the afternoon.
Yeah, that's been a problem, and they've been doing it to both quarterbacks. That right there is another first down waiting to happen, and probably gets out of bounds. Stop the clock.
They rush 4 on 2nd and 10. Dubinion has a flyby, able to get out of bounds. Going to be about a yard shy. Mack and Crutchfield had a shot, but it's a gain of 9, 3rd down and 1.
Those checkdowns are going to be there. ODU is really okay with that ball being thrown that shadow in front of them, but you just got to come up and make the tackle. You had great leverage, make the tackle. The clock is still running. Instead, you allow them to get out of bounds.
Swan going down the middle, just a little too far for Barnes. Couldn't quite reach it with Steiger and Easterly step for step.
Wasn't the best angle by Mario Easterly. You do not want that ball to get behind you. He took too shallow of an angle to come to that football. You got to be a little deeper. You got to be as deep as the deepest and as wide as the widest. That angle's too shallow. It almost was a big play.
Clock is stopped at 2:07. This 4th and 1 is for the ball game.
Absolutely cannot take a sack if they throw the football. This ball's got to come out one way or the other.
In at running back is Lewis. Barnes motions to the top of your screen. Swan looking right. That's a first down pass out of the backfield. Jakari Lewis. And so App State keeps the football.
How about the true freshman snatching that football away, huh?
Timeout.
Clock stops with the 2-minute timeout. App State is now 4 for 5 on 4th downs, and the Mountaineers still believe.
The All-State Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands.
Back in Norfolk, Virginia on a beautiful afternoon for football. Old Dominion trying to hang on to this 10-point lead with 2 minutes remaining. With Tioka Jackson, I'm Doug Sherman. Appalachian State with the football. First down and 10 from its own 47-yard line. Does App State have enough time left? They've got to score twice. Out of the backfield, Jakari Lewis knocked out of bounds at about the original line of scrimmage by Culbreth and Crutchfield.
Good effort by the freshman to get out of bounds, understanding he wasn't going to be a big play or anything, but to save what's going on, this momentum, you got to get out of bounds and allow your quarterback to line up again.
Swan moves up in the pocket. If that's
Wow,
a catch,
catch,
that is brilliant by Jaden Barnes.
My goodness.
Pass behind him and somehow able to pull it in. An 18-yard grab by the junior out of Langston Hughes High School in Georgia.
Yeah, Barnes has been terrific all day.
The chains were not set.
Oh, my goodness.
And you understand App State's want to go fast.
I mean, we got this Monarch defense on his heels.
Please set the game clock to 1:45. The ruling on the field was a catch. The previous play is under video review.
Well, it was going to be stopped anyway.
Oh, I want to see it again. I'm glad we got time to look at it.
One way or another.
That was unbelievable. Well, Barnes came in the #1 receiving option for the Mountaineers, and he has looked the part so far today. Great hands as he adjusts to the pass.
Look at him hold that ball on his shoulder. And once he's making contact with the ground with the ball not moving, it doesn't matter who ends up with the ball. At this point, it's a catch. So from that look, there's nothing you can see that's going to overturn it. Let's see it from this look. Ball, boy. Okay, so the tip of the ball did make contact with the turf. The question is, does the ball move? I did see a slight move of the ball. So there was a slight adjustment of the football. He's squeezing it hard. The question is, will the replay official believe that that slight move of the football is a loss of control of the football? And that's debatable. I think the way to look at it is if the ball moves from making contact with the ground, I think he can call that incomplete.
Boy, I didn't see the movement you were seeing.
Yeah, when that ball hits the turf, it's a slight adjustment of it. It kind of leans a little bit, and the ground is making that lean happen.
It's another one where I look at it, Tioka, and I don't see indisputable video evidence to overturn it.
Yeah. So watch him squeeze it on his shoulder, and as this goes through, watch the tip of the ball, and watch a little bit of movement. Watch the white move. Right there, see that adjustment of the angle of the white line? That ball moves. And so what's the impetus of making that ball move slightly? The ground is the impetus. And so then you got to say, well, he didn't have control of the football. And you can make contact with the ground as long as you maintain complete control of the ball. It's very subjective. Don't get me wrong, but I would say that was enough to make it incomplete. Of course, we're looking in super slow motion. In real time, this looks like a straight up catch. That looks like a catch real time. So I have no problem with the call in the field being made the way it was. But with using the technology to slow it down, I think they're going to overturn it. And don't give me that look. You don't believe me, do you? Look at it.
I'm telling you, I'm on Jaden Barnes' side on this one. Plus, part of me wants to say, yeah, let him keep the catch. That was awesome.
The effort was unbelievable.
Well, again, you and I have been doing this long enough with these reviews. As soon as you think you know everything,
you don't.
Right.
After video review, the ruling on the field is upheld. A catch, 1st and 10, Appalachian State.
There you go. I don't. So everything I said is null and void.
That's the new terminology this year, that it is upheld. And so again, in case or unless they could tell 100% that ball did move, it was going to be upheld. And so that indeed is what it was. Jaden Barnes' numbers continue to grow. And now back to business as App State tries to pull a miracle here in Norfolk. Got to score quickly and get the ball back. Swan off the bench at quarterback. Puts it up where only his man can catch it. And indeed, that's what Davion Dozier does. Touchdown, Mountaineers.
Are you kidding me? How about this A.J. Swan? For all kinds of reasons, this guy could have went into the tank mentally. Lost his starting job, was hurt a little bit. Usually when you get hurt, you don't lose your starting job. Well, Cole came in, was lights out, and he just continues to prepare and be ready. And watch this pass. He couldn't have walked it down the field and handed to Dozier any better than that throw as he beats Brandon Crutchfield.
Well, Dowlogan sure is happy that Davion Dozier followed him from Columbia, South Carolina with a huge touchdown catch. Movement on the line before the PAT attempt from Dominic DeFreitas.
My goodness. How about the turn of events? College football is unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. Just when you think this game's over.
Number 36, causing the offense to react. That penalty is declined. Try.
Well, that was a 34-yard touchdown. On back-to-back drives, they have had TD passes of 35 and 34 yards from the reserve quarterback, A.J. Swan. He now has 8 TDs on the season. The key PAT is good, and it's a 3-point ball game.
This is decision time right now for head coach Dowell Loggins. Do you kick the ball deep? You've got one timeout and try to stop them, or do you try the onside kick? And I think in this situation, the onside kick is the way to go. Minute 35 left in the game, only one timeout.
App State has just one timeout remaining. Old Dominion has its full complement.
Old Dominion, number 3 is wearing number 84.
Making your job harder. 3 going to 84.
So Devin Roche trades in the 3 for an 84 and stands back at his own 23-yard line.
I think if App State had 2 timeouts, you probably kick this deep. But I think this is the right decision given this situation in the ball game. There's a lot of guys that's on that field in blue hoping the ball doesn't come to them. I've been there. I know what that's like. And there's some guys on that field that want the ball to come to them so they can make the play to save the game.
App State is 1 of 2 on onside kicks. Mario Easterly, one of the members of the hands team, number 3, is out there for ODU. Kick comes to the near side. It is secured by Ja'Cory Thomas. Old Dominion gets the football back. Got a scrum at midfield. These are 2 East Division rivals in the Sun Belt Conference, both coming off of losses, both knowing how important this win is as they try to at least keep within shouting distance of the teams ahead of them in the division like James Madison.
And we talked about this was a must win. I mean, they both have losing records coming into this game in the conference and couldn't afford to lose another. They both 1 and 2. As you see, you got to kick up. That late kick up is what you want. The problem is it wasn't enough defenders in the area to create a pinball effect and hopefully get that ball back.
They're the current standings. James Madison has the week off. Coastal just a game back. Marshall 2-1, and then these 2 teams that both suffered crushing defeats a week ago, trying to bounce back. Old Dominion has played from in front the entire afternoon, but App State will not go away. So Colton Joseph, after throwing for over 300 yards, will take a knee, and App State will burn its final timeout.
Timeout. Appalachian State, 3rd and final timeout of the second half. 30 seconds.
So now, barring a miracle, bad snap, some mental mistake, Old Dominion should get out of here with its second conference win and improve to 5-3.
Yeah, it was a well-played ball game. It was a joy to call because there was a lot of elements going on. You had some really good physicality, had some big splash plays, had some mistakes that were made and capitalized on, some not capitalized on, trick plays, a little bit of everything in this one. Tight ball game. We expected it, though. We thought these teams were evenly matched. I mean, you got two teams that come in top 5 in the conference in offense and top 5 in the conference in defense. That tells you that these are two good football teams that are going to play hard and was probably going to go into the fourth quarter in doubt.
And App State has rallied here in the second half behind their backup quarterback, A.J. Swan, who has really been terrific.
No doubt about it. Got a ton of respect for him, how he came off the bench and did nothing but drop dimes.
And now the Mountaineers, no ability to stop the clock again. Flag comes down.
That stops the clock. I mean, if that is an offensive penalty, that's insane.
Offsides, defense. 5-yard penalty, remain, second down.
So they'll respot the ball and wind the clock.
Well, there is what's ahead for Old Dominion here November 13th against Troy, then at Georgia Southern, and then November 29th back home against Georgia State.
Coach Ronnie's got to feel good about this second half. Obviously, towards the end, letting the team back in the game, he's not happy about that, but they really fell apart in the last 2 games in the second half. That did not happen today.
Well, we talked to him at the end of the third quarter. Joseph finally goes down, and in spite of our want to talk a little bit about the offense, he continued to steer it back toward the defense.
Yeah, I mean, because he knows how many points was put against them in the second half of the last 2 weeks. We talked about it coming into this game. You know, they were outscored heavily in the second half. So he knew that the key to winning this game was going to be defensively coming out of the break. They outscored 56-14 in the last 2 games combined in the second half, and that just isn't going to get it done.
Joseph tried to run for it. Zaire Gamble wasn't having it.
That was just enough time to end the game right there.
Well, an impressive performance on homecoming by Colton Joseph. He throws for over 300 yards yet again and does just enough as those 2 old friends from the days together in Nashville embrace out in the field. But it's the former Vanderbilt assistant who gets the better of the former Tennessee Titans assistant here this afternoon.
Yeah, if you coach Ronnie, you're happy about how your team finished. Again, we talked about, did he play well in the second half of the last 2 ball games? Erased that today. And then if you're Coach Loggins, you're saying, listen, guys, we played well on the road. We did what we had to do in the second half to get back in it. We didn't lose it. We just ran out of time. And I think that's the message you give to your team so that they can be ready to roll come next week.
The Monarchs bounce back, jump out in front in the first, and then hang on for a 24-21 victory over the Mountaineers from Appalachian State. The pursuit continues. ODU can continue to drive and dream about getting itself into the Sun Belt Championship. For Tioka Jackson and the entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman saying thanks for watching. Oklahoma State and Texas Tech is next, but currently in a weather delay. We will get you there just as soon as we can.